What's up, everybody? Happy Sunday. Hope everybody's doing well. Put my mic closer. Hope everybody is doing good. Get in the center. All right, there we go. There we go. Right there. All right. You gotta forgive me. I'm kind of a one-man band, so I kind of do everything myself. Just waiting on my co-host. Hope everybody is good today, good and blessed. It's crazy how sometimes we kind of wonder where God is in life. We hear about God and all that, but man, the proof of God is just all around you. You just have to stop and be thankful, you know. And let me bring my co-host on. Yeah, hope everybody's doing good.
What's up?
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good. I'm so sorry about yesterday. In Houston, you just have to plan everything, and
Mm-hmm.
it takes 40 minutes to drive 5 miles here. Because there's just so much traffic all the time.
You're in Houston,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm having a bad hair day, so I understand.
Look here, I'm gonna I'm gonna tell you like this. A lot of things that we're hard on ourselves about, other people care or admire.
That's true.
Be honest, like yeah, I like your hair right now. Like I like how it looks.
Thank you. I was just washing it, and I tried to do a wash and go, and I don't know, my hair's a little nappy, so.
That, that's nappy is in. Nappy and natural.
It's knotty, like the detangling
Hey,
process.
well, some chicks are bald, so be thankful.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I just don't.
But
You know what it is? I don't know how to do hair, so that's what my problem has always been. I'm not a hairstylist, so.
yeah, well, I think that you should learn how to at least care for it. Like you have a daughter, right?
Yeah.
For her,
Hmm.
how do you do your daughter's hair? You just put them.
I don't. I just be doing some temporary detangling and stuff, and that's it.
Gotta learn. I had to learn how to groom myself. So
Oh, you know how to braid?
me?
Are you talking about like shapies and stuff?
Nah, my beard and skincare, and I have a liner. I have like a hair liner, but I mean that's about it. Like if I can't make it to the barbershop, then I just kind of gotta you know improvise. But I just have the basics now. So, but I got a question
Sure.
for you. So what do y'all fear? What like as women, do y'all fear most a guy cheating on you or leaving you?
Oh my God, both.
So they're both equally as.
I would say. Why is that funny? That's horrible.
All right. So would you
Thank you, Kate Crown 77.
do you fear a guy? Do y'all fear guys like sleeping with another woman or loving another woman? What would hurt more?
Loving. My biggest fear is a man loving another woman or a man sleeping with another man. That's my biggest fear. I'm so serious.
Well, I asked that because like I was laughing about our last conversation, and I was talking to some of my friends, and like men and women we do not think the same. Like we see like totally different. Men, the worst thing you can do to a man is screw another man. Like all that feeling stuff, like if a man and if a woman, started having feelings for another guy, like we can deal with it. Like our pride will be hurt, but we can deal with it. But like actually like sleeping with another man, like that's the worst thing that you could do.
So, do you think men and women equally feel like when it comes to the sexual factor, like a man cheating on his girl, a girl cheating on her man? Do you think men and women are both equally hurt by that?
No, men are way more hurt. Way more.
Men are way more
Way
hurt.
more. That's the worst. I'm telling you, that's the worst thing you can do. That is the worst thing you can do to a man. Like, you know, give yourself to another man. Like, violating.
I'm like trying to get this right. Okay.
Meditated. Like, just don't unless you're a hoe or like a nympho. Like women have to, they have to be like you have to. It has to be like a build up, for for that, that sexual desire. Women just don't see a man and they be like, okay, I want to screw him. Like it has to be like a woman see a man and be like, oh, he's handsome, he's really attractive, but that doesn't mean she wants to screw him. So it's got to be, it takes a lot of work to get a woman to that, to that point, and then when you give it away to another guy, it's just like, oh my goodness, it's devastating. So
Blanche said, I think it was yesterday, I think he said all women have the Jezebel spirit. Do you agree with that? But
no,
I guess basically saying like all women have the Jezebel spirit. And I think he says something along the lines, it's like you'll naturally have the Jezebel spirit, but you have to do things to control it. Something along those lines.
nah,
Jezebel spirit.
I don't agree. I get where he's coming from, but I don't fully agree. I I think of things like in a systematic manner. Like I told you last time, my background is in health science and physiology, and so when in nature, like male hormones, the function male hormones have two functions, to allow men to do the things that we need to do and to think the way we need to think, and also to suppress female hormones. So when male hormones are plummeting, or like the the feminine hormones rise, the the diol and the prolactin and all that, it gets higher. So you start seeing um anatomical changes in the man's face, his facial features. He's not gonna have like a his jaw's gonna round out a little bit more, and his beard is gonna be patchy. He might start lactating and all that. So I'm saying that because like when there's no men, when there's no on a macro level, when there's no masculine essence around a woman, you tend to become more masculine.
Woman?
Yeah.
Oh, am I masculine?
No, I ain't say that. That's not what I said. I said you tend to, like women will tend to, like when there's no men there, like when let me how do I phrase this? When you take men, when you take the function of men, the male hormones, you take it out the picture, it there has to be some kind of balance somehow. You know, nature has to balance itself. So you're a woman, like you can see that clearly. But if there's no man around, if there's no if you're not getting any masculine energy, you're gonna have to compensate for it somehow.
I think my way of compensating because I'm not around men. I think my way of compensating is just, oh, I got it, I'll do it. Or again, it tends to be aggravated at times and always in a hurry doing different things. So, I mean, I that just goes into what you're saying. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, you ever heard of who's killing the rhinos?
No, but that'd be a great thing to do right now in America.
um, there was like a wildlife reserve in somewhere in Africa, and at night they kept finding, or in the morning they kept finding rhinos killed, like their ribs crushed upon trees, like pressed on trees, like dead, and their ribs are broken. So they thought like maybe it's like poachers or hunters or like breaking into the reserve, and they were wondering what was going on. So they set up cameras, and what they found out is not the adult elephants, but like the juvenile adolescent male elephants, their testosterone was like super duper high, and they were like super aggressive, and they were just killing the rhinos, and rhinos are huge. So what they did was they brought full grown adult elephants, like male adult elephants, into the wildlife reserve, and the testosterone levels of the adolescents went down, and they started behaving and all that. So it's like when you take
Who were the people? What was it, the Ethiopians or the West Africans or Kenyans or whatever?
these were white people. It was a
Oh, the
wildlife
wildlife
reserve.
safari people.
Yeah, it was a reserve, like where they keep the wild, and so people can like come in and have a tour and see the zebras and all that stuff like that. So they're pretty consistent.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and I don't think that we're as advanced as we think we are. Like we're real primitive in a lot of ways. We're really instinctual, and we kind of have this thing about like we're an evolved form of humans, and we're not. Human nature is pretty fixed. So when we talk about things like slavery and all that, I'm just like, I think it's a natural part of the human existence. There's always going to be owners, and there's always going to be servants. Now whether the servant is being paid or not, he's still a servant. He's still giving his time. He's still selling his time to somebody else. And that's a form of slavery. It's just servitude. It is wrong when you steal somebody and you force them to serve, but even with that, at the end of the day, that's still a choice in my book. And I had this conversation with my friend last night. We were talking about how we're saying like, is slavery is a choice or not? And I was like, absolutely, because the choice is always to live or die. If you say serve me or die, then I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna die. I'd rather die. And I just don't believe that. I don't believe that a strong culture and a moral culture can be conquered so easily. So I was saying like slavery is a result of a moral decay and pretty much serving evil gods. So and if you read the Bible, it kind of like pretty much says the same thing. Because all cultures are not equal. Some cultures are better than others, and when you have two cultures collide, the stronger one is gonna win.
And we see that on a day-to-day basis here in America. A
Exactly.
lot of
You know,
clash.
yeah, and I think that's why they're trying to deculturalize us by pretty much removing any sort of reverence to God, or they're trying to demonize the Bible, and once you do that, then you can bring all this evil into the society, and I really believe that it's a result of men not being men. Like men drop the ball. You're not supposed to leave women at the gates to protect the city. They're gonna let everything in by force or compassion. You're gonna hold a gun to their head, and they're gonna be like, "Okay, you can go, you can come in. Or, they're gonna like, oh, I feel so sorry for him. Come on, we'll take care of you. So that's how y'all are designed. So I can't really sit up here and blame women for everything that's going on. It started with the fall of man first, and then the women just followed suit. So, I cannot expect a woman to have the same resolve I have when it comes to that choice of life or death. I would rather die than be a slave. That's the choice. I'm not gonna I'm not I'm just it's just not negotiable for me. I don't expect you to see it the same way. And if we're together, if you're my woman and somebody says, die, what's up, bro? If somebody says die or they say die or serve me or I'm gonna take your woman and your children. If I cannot defend y'all, I am not worthy of having y'all. That's just how I see it. That may sound like out there, and it might sound like fantasy, but I think we're too in America to really face reality, as it is. The life we live is unlike any kind of life any group of people have ever lived on the face of the earth. The fact that we have a system of laws that actually recognize people's individual right to live and to prosper and to be free. That's a rare thing. People in the world don't have recognize rights like we do. When you talk about oppression, there's no oppression in this country. The only oppression is, when you have areas of a lot of spiritual darkness and whatnot. There's a Bible verse. It says that basically the prophet is telling the people what God is saying. He said, "As for my people, they're ruled by women and oppressed by children."
What does that mean?
Basically, it's a condition of a curse when you're ruled by women and oppressed by children.
I'm trying to catch the oppressed by children part. I get that women are evil, but I'm trying to understand the children.
When you got okay, so when you got these little Thundercats running around gang banging and disturbing the peace, and you can't tell them anything, or they'll kill you. That's oppression. You got old people that can't even come out of their homes because you got people just standing around on the street corner not doing anything, or you going into the corner store and you see a bunch of shiftless people just standing around not doing anything. That's what it's talking about. You're oppressed by children.
Wow. And that's
You know,
today, like the past, what, 15 years or something?
it,
Different.
dang. So I like 40.
Oh my
I
God.
like 40, but I mean,
Oh, it started in the crack era. You're right. You're right.
yeah, I think it started all after the World War II with the baby boomers and all that, those hippies and the summer of love and all those CIA operations to
Not my hippies.
yeah, the hippies were trash people. Like, they were like super godless, and all they wanted to do was smoke weed and do LSD.
Oh, the mushroom.
Yeah, they were like super communist. I mean, it was a bad time in
It's
America.
crazy, like, because I really call myself a hippie
I mean,
in the flesh.
you call yourself a hippie because you're a free spirit,
Mm-hmm.
and you're a little bit more morally sound than hippies.
Huh?
You come across as more morally sound than a hippie.
Well, I don't know. I just have hippie
Like,
traits. 1960.
like what?
And I can converse. I could talk to anybody. It just I don't know how to like when you what's your definition or your meaning of free spirit?
A free spirit is somebody that just flows, that just freely flows, and is not confined by dogma. I'm a free spirit, but I'm very principled.
Yeah, me too. I'm the same. I'm free spirited, but I operate from morals and values and principles.
Yeah. So you're not a hippie. Hippies have no, they had
They
no confines.
have limits.
Everything just go. They had no kind of discretion whatsoever. They smoked everything. They had all sorts of. They had orgies, and it was
Well, I've never done that, so
yeah. So don't denigrate yourself by calling yourself a hippie.
I feel like when I say I'm a hippie, I feel like I'm a free spirit, not sexually, but like I could just talk to anybody, don't care. Like I could see a prostitute or a crackhead and just start having a conversation. Like I don't know, it's weird. Like I've just always been like that. Like I could just talk to anybody, don't care how you think or what your views are. Me being a conservative is for me, not forcing you. And then if I was around the 1960s, I would have went to Woodstock. So,
you got turned out.
huh?
They would have turned you out.
Oh my gosh. And I would have been against the Vietnam War, kind of like today with the Israel and Palestine. I'm just neutral with wars. I don't like, you know what it is? Like I can understand like this group of men fighting this group of men, but the war crime within, I don't, you know. So I agree with Muhammad Ali, like back in the 1960s, like when he didn't want to go to the Vietnam War or whatever, and I was mad about how they handled that with him and stripped him from his opportunity to go to the championship and everything. So I agreed with Muhammad Ali and Eartha Kitt when it came to regards to the Vietnam War. But I don't know; these are just little ideologies that I have similar to the hippies. I've told you I have a little bit of liberalism, and that's the 1960s version.
Yeah,
So
I think that's just because you're a woman.
that's what that
Yes,
is. The
yeah, I think it's just because you're a woman. But
what or
y'all let everything in the gates. It's kind of I was talking to the daughter of Vietnam veteran, and he said when they came back, they were so hated because of the media propaganda here. They were saying that they went over there to kill women and children, innocent women and children and whatnot. And you know, he, the father of this lady that was telling the story. He was saying that he'd be talking to one of his the people in his troop and whatnot, and they would go to sleep. He would wake up, and the guy that was sleeping next to him had no head. You know, so you know to go through all that and to come back and you're not even welcomed in your own country. These people, these Vietnamese, they were fighting a dishonorable form of war. Even though you're at war, there are rules of engagement that you follow. You don't send children and women to the front lines. That's immoral. You don't send women to children. You don't send women and children up to soldiers with bombs strapped onto them. Because now it's like, okay, well, here's a child. Oh, it's just a child. And then all of a sudden, kaboom, then you don't have any hands. Whereas now you say, oh, it's a child, but it could be a bomb. So I got to do what I got to do to make it to the next day. And that's what they were telling the American public, that they're killing innocent children and women. It's kind of similar to the whole there was children in cages thing. So these things, about war and even the reason behind the war. I think that's something that's important to really look into, because communism, Marxism, it's a cancer in the world and it needs to be purged. So if America was trying to fight the spread of communism, it may have been a righteous war. I don't know, but it's just history's so nuanced, and especially the history that is passed on to us. It's just kind of hard to tell what is what. So,
I don't know how Forrest Gump survived that war.
I love that movie.
Me
I love that.
too.
Yeah, but
The more I get, or the more I watch it, the more meaningful it is.
yeah, I like the part when he said there was a guy, and every time he said the F word, everybody started cheering. I love that part. But anyway, so what's on the menu today?
I guess. Well, and you just said to me about because I'm a woman when I was talking about like how I feel about war crime and that I have a little bit of hippie, but you think it's more so because I'm a woman. And when you said that part, I was gonna say it kind of blends into should women vote?
You saw what I just posted a couple minutes ago, right?
No, because I'm like I was trying to tame my hair, so I'm just like all over the place.
I posted our segment about should women vote.
What do you think?
I already said I no, inherently no. And I'm not saying because you're a woman. I'm saying that everybody shouldn't just have the right to vote. Because your vote has consequences. Look at the bullshit we have now. All these people voting for people like AOC, Bernie Sanders. We literally have communists in our government stealing or siphoning our lifeblood from us and sending it to an evil cause. These people are,
We got Elon Umar, the East African, that
yeah,
needs to go back to East Africa.
yeah. The whole Democratic Party is basically communist. You
Communist. Mm-hmm.
so you know, if women are gonna vote on compassion, no, they shouldn't vote. Like, no, this world is not, what we see it is all the time. Like, there are consequences of the decisions that people make, and this leadership is so important. When you have good men abandon their post, these are the things that happen. Evil will rise in the land. And then you'll have all these charlatans and wolves and sheep's clothing come in, and they'll entice people, and they'll seduce them. It's you know like, no, everybody shouldn't vote. Like, the only people that should vote are landowners, business owners, and servicemen and women. That's the only people that should vote, because the vote affects them the most. Like,
Oh, that's a nice perspective. But here's my thing. Now that it's the 2024 cycle, right? It's not. We're not in a situation this year of evoke the 19th Amendment. It's not like when November comes around, women are not allowed to vote this year, at least, right?
yeah.
So why are men and women going back and forth on that, whether it's the manosphere like Fresh and Fit or just Pearly Things. What just Pearly Things is doing is she's like she has a shirt that says, "Hi you guys, women should not vote, and please order my shirt on the audacity.com." Like, okay, so she's doing that, and then it's just I don't know, because I've been on Twitter now. I went back to Twitter again for like the past, like, what, 3 or 4 weeks or something, and I see the rift between men and women. um and it's like, why put energy into that if women's rights to get women voting, that right is not going to be taken away this year for 2024. So why put energy into that? But if I were to give an opinion, I think that once women are not allowed to vote, it's going backwards, and I think it's going to create this feeling, if not a fact, it's going to create a feeling of, okay, women are automatically second to men in America, kind of like the 1920s, 1930s, whether it's fact or not. That energy or that feeling, because we still have feminists no matter what, right? So that feeling and that, I don't know, they're just they're, it's going to be ugly. So I don't know.
Well,
I'm kind of getting convinced, I'm not going to lie to you, I'm kind of getting convinced that maybe women shouldn't vote because I'm very upset with women. And to be quite honest with you, I think that I think that as of late, with abortion rights, with the vaccine, um, just the way women think, because I think, or not that I think, I that the women in America are mostly liberal than conservative, right? On a large scale, like in the 50 states, women are more liberal, right? There are more liberal women than conservative women, and there are more liberal women than liberal men.
I, like I said, I think it's nuanced. I don't think women are political. I think they follow the status quo. They follow their feelings and their intuitions. So, if it's kind of like the whole thing about letting people in the gates. They will let somebody in the gates because they feel sorry for them, not because it's the right thing to do. I just feel sorry for them. So, you know, people are suffering in other countries, so just let them in. That's bullshit. Like that. That's why God called men to lead, and that's why women are more suited to raise young children because y'all are just naturally more compassionate than men.
That's our nurturing spirit, right?
Yeah, that's y'all's nurturing nature.
Okay, so just like I said, 2024 is established right now. As far as this election cycle is concerned, women still have the right to vote, right? That's
Yeah,
just 2024, right? So
yeah.
let me add another thing. 2024, how would you, in a nutshell, like the state of men in America, like how men are operating in America? Do you think men are leading correctly, or do you think men are failing in society right now in America in 2024?
Men are failing miserably, and I say that because a society you can measure the society, the direction or the health of a society, looking at the women. The women are the canary in the coal mine, and I say this on a social level, and even on a physiological level. If the women are infertile, that's because the men have created a situation to where women are, they're overstressed. So
There's a lot of reasons why women are infertile. It's not just men. It's also women have a choice. Do they want all these sexual partners? Because I know all these venereal diseases and
it,
vaccines. It's multiple reasons why women are currently infertile right now.
yeah, it's all it all like ties into this. It all ties to the same issues. Um, the fact that we've allowed women to really just rise up in society and have and kind of like muddy the waters, and really believe that their feelings in a matter of national security is of any significance. That's a failure on men. you
It
know
is.
I hear all the time, but from men, happy wife, happy life. That's the biggest load of shit ever.
Yeah,
Like that, but men,
like I
men,
don't like that saying.
men say
No,
it.
I know. Oh, it's weak.
Yeah.
It's weak.
So I mean, like, has men failed? Yeah, men have failed, and I'm not just gonna even just stop right there. The men that came before us failed.
Like the 45, 50-year-olds, right?
The boomers and the Generation X, they failed. They dropped the ball. Because with them it was all about having fun and pleasure and buying and going buck wild with credit cards and the chickens came home to roost. We got women in these days, we got women in our time, they don't know how to be wives. They don't know how to submit. They don't know who to submit to because they were not taught, they were not moderated coming up. They weren't given any kind of vision or direction. You got women running around here saying, I don't feel protected. Well, shit, whose fault is that? That's holler at your dad. That's your dad. It's your dad. If you're not married, it's your dad's responsibility to protect you. So yeah, it's it's safe.
Say, which leads me to say, it's 2024. Women still have the right to vote, right?
Mm-hmm.
While it's still 2024, men are not leading correctly,
No,
right? So just right now, the here and now, or let's say within the next 2 years, right? Hypothetically, if we take women's rights away to vote in this current situation where men lack leadership, because you have to understand what's going on right now. Men are so weak and they're full of gluttony and they're just having sex with multiple women. And once they have sex with 100 women, they start to become a whole as a whole. And I say this all the time, and I'm going to keep saying it. I don't care how many times I say it. You have men out there that a whole is a whole, right? And then you also have, if a man dresses up like a woman, or if a man is gay, and if he hits a masculine man and a man fights him back to a straight male to protect himself, it's going to be considered a hate crime, right? And you have men dressing up as women, getting into women's sports, getting into the girls' locker rooms, getting into the girls' bathrooms, and all those things. So this is the current state that we are in 2024, right? So you take women's vote away, right? Let's say 2025 or something like that. While men are like this, do you know like how dangerous that is? In the
No,
current state, not because I can say, okay, let women stop, because I know that women are impulsive in a nutshell, right? Women are impulsive and women are catty
mm-hmm.
and women are evil. So, but if you take away women's right to vote while men lack leadership now within the next 2 or 3 years, let's just say, it's like I would be all for it if men were leading correctly. If men were leading correctly, fine. Because I know that men should think strategically, while typically women think impulsively. But men are just as impulsive in this day and age, and they're not thinking with their right head. So if men can lead correctly, then fine, just vote. And then us women will stay in the back line of things.
So
I
you
have
believe, so you believe that women voting is doing women good right now?
no, especially not in the abortion topic, which is another topic that we're gonna somehow blend
Yeah.
into.
I mean, I don't get what your premise is. Like, if you know, yeah, men are dropping the ball as far as leadership, but women voting is not helping. There's not water to the fire. It's gasoline on the fire. If you take women,
Well, we shift things within the next 2 or 3 years, which everything like right now the 19th Amendment is not a vote right now. It's not. But if we as Americans, with the leadership of a man, if men can start stepping up properly, start day by day, then okay, fine. In 2025, 2026, like 2026 midterm election or whatever, okay, fine. Take women's rights away to vote, but make sure as a man that you guys are coming through and you guys are leading properly. But yes, with like abortion and stuff like that, like women piss me off. I think that women and children are largely at danger because of other women. I really think that because when women do stupid stuff like, oh, we're my body, my choice, even going as far as to like celebrate abortion parties and stuff like that. Like I didn't know it was that deep, but I guess women have been having abortion parties for quite a while now. But to sit there, like you have women, let's say working women, and then I know we're going to get to that. That's going to blend in as well, working
oh
woman,
yeah,
right?
wait,
everything,
wait,
and everything just kind of blends in,
oh,
right? So when women talk about like, oh, my body, my choice, you're really saying you just want to have a hot girl summer. That's really what you're saying. Like you're just saying that you just want to be a slut and you want to have sex with multiple guys and punish the baby in the womb. Or I don't know. That's how I take it.
I don't agree. I don't see it like that. I think you're just throwing a hissy fit. I can do what I want to do, and you can't tell me what to do. I think
Yeah,
that's what it is.
exactly. It's lack of accountability.
Yeah. I mean, that's what little children do. It's not like it's not that it's not so much that they want to do it. They just want to do it because you don't want them to do it. You know. So I don't. Yeah, I mean, abortion is very invasive. It's a very invasive and violating procedure. I mean, I don't know how anybody can go through with letting somebody like get a metal tongue and stick it up you and scrape and pull like that, like, cause like if you're good with that, like something's wrong with you as a woman. I just
Women have become infertile after that. It's a spiritual punishment. I have to be honest with you. I used to be pro-choice, but over the years, I became
I'm
pro-life.
pro-choice
Why?
because it's not a matter of choice. That's where they get you. That's a communist Marxist trick. They ask you, are you pro-choice or pro-life? Well, who is against having choices, and who is against life? So my thing is, if you make a choice, you reap the consequences of that choice. You deal with those consequences yourself. I have nothing to do with it. So, the issue for me is the tax dollars go to fund Planned Parenthood? And the answer is fuck no. Like, I mean, I'm not. Why should I pay for a choice that I don't agree with? Why should I pay with a decision that I don't agree with? Like, it's stupid to me. But nonetheless, it's your body. If you want to cut off your hand, I would say you shouldn't do it. But I'm not going to stop you from doing it. That's your decision. But guess what? You have to reap the consequences of making that poor choice. But the hypocrisy in the whole thing is that the feminists always want to punish men. They'll say my body, my choice, but when the child comes to term, they want to put the man on child support. So it's stupid. Abortion is between a woman and the man that got her pregnant. If those two make a choice to get that abortion, they have to live with that, but they have to pay for it as well. And see, the thing is, like, naturally, whatever comes from my body is me. Like, it belongs to me. So, like, if I get a woman pregnant, I put that seed there. So it's my responsibility. Therefore, and here's what a lot of people don't want to really admit: that seed in that woman that's supposed to be my woman, that seed is my property.
Oh, I agree.
So the state doesn't have the right to come in and confiscate my property for not adhering to their wicked ideologies of all sorts of hormone replacement therapies, and all this cooking of the brains and the minds of the youth. And I tell them, no, that's wrong, and they come in and take my child from me. That means that child is not my property.
Yeah, you're not 50-50 in this, or you don't have any say, just like a woman. You see what Pat Daddy said about
Hold on,
Congress?
let me see what he said. Pat Daddy. Thank you for watching, by the way. Thank you for viewing. Congress too afraid to defund Planned Parenthood because they don't want to lose their seat. That's the problem. That is the problem right there. Men being afraid to do what needs to be done.
Exactly.
I don't respect cowardice. You know, I just don't. I think this, like, why people hate the Bible? Because
Why?
the Bible is not told the way it's supposed to be told. It's always told with a spin. If you just read the Bible and you're honest with people, I think most people will be like, you know what, I agree with that. But it's always read with a spin. Tell people the truth, and let the chip fall where they may. I believe that if we stand in truth, then nature is on our side. That's just what I believe. And I see it in life all the time. I don't know. It's inescapable. Like, there's just certain laws of nature that you cannot escape. So, but that's the thing I'm talking about. Like, why should women get to vote when they're voting on bullshit like abortion? Like, if if we're gonna and I blame the conservative side too, because their scope is so limited. If you're pregnant, right? If you're pregnant, it's your body, your choice, right? But we're like, oh well, you should have the baby and this, that, and the other. If you decide to make poor health choices, if you start smoking weed, doing cocaine, or starving yourself, you can force the fetus to abort. So the human being always has control. Like the mother always has control over, whether that child is going to come to term or not. It's you cannot escape it. So that means like if we're going to outlaw abortion, then we should outlaw. Where does it stop? Then we got to say like, okay, we're going to make it a felony or misdemeanor for a woman to drink while she's pregnant. That's where these things are going. If people don't really just pay attention, but you cannot have all this freedom without righteousness. That's why I don't like hippies. That's why I don't like liberals. I don't like super liberals. I'm not. That wasn't a shot at you. I was just like just referencing the whole the point we were making earlier about like what is really a hippie. But I don't like people that don't operate within the confines of truth and reality, because you cannot reason with these people.
Exactly. You can't look at it like me. I like to consider myself a sweetheart, but when I say I'm solo dolo, it's like I can't argue with certain people anymore. Like I just tapped out, and you can't like these far left people. Like I can understand moderate people, but these far left people, there's no reasoning with them. It's like we literally have to like part ways. Like I think the country should like we talk about evoking the 19th Amendment. I think the country should do something. I don't know. I even hear like Texas, for instance, like they were a country, like, they transcended from, they were a part of Mexico, then it went to like being its own country, right? And then I always hear talks of like, should Texas be like its own country now? That's like, not saying that that's going to happen, but I understand because I know Texas like is heavy, like pro-American on a large scale, even though you got like Houston and liberal factors in there and whatever. But I don't know. We just really have to like split. I mean, I don't know how, but I just wish we could split from these lefties and stuff like that, because the way I'm operating in my neck of the woods, I'm in Connecticut. I'm 30 minutes, 40 minutes away from New York. I don't like being around people. Like I can't, I don't socialize anymore. I'm very antisocial because when I look back in hindsight at my childhood, my teenage years and everything, I don't fit in because I'm a conservative. And I have people think like, oh, Lydia, you're pretty, your life is easy. And people don't know on the backhand side, because I'm a conservative, I have to bust my ass and work 10 times hard. I don't like doing that. That's why sometimes I go through my episodes of being, especially as a mother in like the past 9 years, I go through my episodes of being burnt out because I can't do it all the time. And I'm just being all the way honest. And I know we're going to get into should women work or whatever, but I'm very tired of how evil women are. Women are very catty, and that's not like race or skin color based or anything like that. Women by nature are just very catty. Um, and to sit there and say my body, my choice, like put it like this: let's say if a woman is with a man and they've been together for 2 years, right? And he gets her pregnant like 2 months after they just got together or whatever. I don't know. She says it's just a clump of cells, and she gets an abortion. Then somewhere in that relationship for 2 years or whatever, she wants to have a baby. So now that he gets her pregnant the second time around, like, oh, I want to, have a child with this man. I want to get married or whatever. When she takes that pregnancy test, when she wants to have that child, now it's a baby. But when she didn't want to have the child and she wanted to get an abortion, it was just a clump of cells.
That's,
and I can't stand that. I can't stand that about women.
That hypocrisy.
It's the hypocrisy. It's the lack of accountability, and you can't blame a man for that sector of it. You can't blame a man for that.
No,
especially not when it's consensual.
Yeah, now everybody is responsible for their own individual choices, but so just to combat that, just to show you how stupid these people are, to say a fetus is a clump of cells, well, so are you. I'm a clump of
Exactly.
cells. Like I mean, it's stupid, but like I said, these people have, they don't yield to anything but themselves. They're evil because they serve an evil God. Their God is themselves, and they're evil, and that's who they serve. So, and this goes back to what we were talking about last week about how it's so important that two people of the similar convictions get together, because if you're not, it's like mixing oil and water. It's not. It's gonna naturally like separate. There's always gonna be conflict within that system. It doesn't work. So but you need to move. I keep
I'm
telling you
trying
that.
to. Trust me, I'm trying. Like I have to. I'm trying to get myself established up here. Not to say like I have to transfer a particular job down there, but I look like I'm suffering, right?
I mean, what do you mean? Like you sound like you're suffering, or you look like it? You look fine to me.
No, not
Like,
like like I seem unhappy.
oh
It
you seem very disgruntled.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't. I'm to be in a place and become antisocial when you're naturally social and free spirited. It doesn't feel good. And to be, because here in Connecticut, I constantly deal with rejection. People don't understand that. Like I said, I have to work 10 times as hard as anybody else. I deal with constant rejection. When I've had jobs, they know I'm conservative. It's like when you have a conversation with somebody like 2-3 minutes, like you yourself. Let's say you have a conversation, you could tell when somebody's liberal or conservative, right? It's not forget
I,
Republican, Democrat. I'm talking about like you could tell people's ideologies in a quick observation, right? So
yeah.
that's what I've been going through since elementary school, middle school, high school. People always knew I was different, or I would get called like a conspiracy theorist. People call me crazy. People call me delusional. People call me weirdo. I haven't since 2020. People haven't been calling me delusional since 2020 for whatever reason, but I've just always dealt with stuff like that. Like I'm left out. I don't get support. I don't get and things like that in my neck of the woods. So it's to the point where now I'm just physically numb. This has never happened to me. Like now I'm just tapped out. I don't argue with people anymore because I can argue with people and I can debate forever. I'll just keep going on and on and on. Like I don't even have the mentality, like the mindset. I don't want to socialize with people anymore. I don't have any friends. Don't have a boyfriend. Because like I don't know, that liberal conservative stuff, like that's real. Like I don't want to sound like I'm over exaggerating, but that stuff is real, and I'm surrounded by a lot of lefties, including my daughter. So it's just let me stop. She's just left-handed, but she's very conservative. But um, I'm tired. Like, and I feel like if I stay around here longer, I don't know. It's just not. I'm not going to make it in Connecticut, and I know that for sure. Connecticut it's a blue state. Um, the governor is backed by communists. Um, People always tell me I should be in politics, but I know not to get into politics in Connecticut because I'm going to lose. And then it's like if you have to tell me, Lydia, like, hey, Lydia, like, run for Senate seat or run for this or run for that, and you tell me to tell people that I'm Democrat, like just in the running, because if I run independent, like the funny thing is, if you, it's either you're a Democrat or a Republican on your ticket, right? Even though you'll most likely lose as a Republican, it's better to run as a Republican than independent,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
If people tell me like, oh, run as a Democrat and then just get in there and do what you have to do, I don't. That's like a sense of plagiarism to me, and it's not being real to myself. I'm not a
yeah.
Democrat. I'm not a
It,
Republican either. But if I'd be more so a Republican than a Democrat. Um, but I know in politics, if I ran in Connecticut or like in my district 8, district 9, um, I'm not going to get the support. I'm not going to win. And it's not that I'm trying to have a victim mentality by all means. It's just I don't fit in. Like I Connecticut doesn't want me in that regard. I just don't fit in, and I'm always I don't know. After falling out with a lot of people, I'm tired. I can't do it anymore.
well, don't worry, I don't fit in either. But
I think you got a better. I think you got a better chance in Texas than I do, in Connecticut. I'm so ready to go south.
it's just it's really just about perspective. You know, there are people where you are that actually there are people where you are that are like you. They're just not as brave as you are. They're just hiding because you know they feel the same way, but they're not as brave. You know, so they don't. You know, they're non-confrontational, and you know that's really like I said, it's a failure of men. And this is my thing with the whole Texas succeeding and stuff like that. The reason why I do not support succession is because you know, like I've made it clear that you know I use the Bible as my point of reference. So anytime there's the righteous, God never commands the righteous to flee. God always commands the righteous to go in the land and conquer that. You know, so it's like this thing about cutting and running. It where does it stop? Because if we succeed and come into this little pocket, guess what? They're gonna come in for us. They're gonna come for us. These people these people are hell bent on wiping out any semblance of order and righteousness in the earth. Like these people operate from a realm of you know very evil spirits. Like this whole thing is a spiritual battle. You know, so that's why you know as somebody that claims to be a believer, I always have to make sure that I'm seeing things from the right scope, you know, spiritually, that I'm interpreting the information, you know, I have the correct spiritual interpretation of the information that you know that I'm getting, that I'm receiving, you know. So you know this thing about like you know we're just gonna succeed and you know California's gonna let all these
Yeah.
immigrants in and then
Oh, that's not reality.
in, and then New York and California, they're going to open up the Canadian border, and they're just going to keep coming south. And then, you know, people from South America, they're just going to keep coming. They're going to close in on us.
Wait, they're thinking about opening the Canadian border as well?
No, I'm saying like these people these people are globalists. They don't want borders.
Just want the mix.
Yeah, so New York and Canada share a border. You know, so they're just going to open that up, and you know, they're just going to flood the mainland, and you know, they're just going to close in on us.
That's right, Pat Daddy. They want Russia gone too. They want my fellow Orthodox.
I don't know if they want Russia gone. I think it's what I think it's about nationhood. They don't want nations. They want globalism.
Yeah, they want globalism, and they don't want individualized ethnic and cultural differences.
Yeah, you know, so that's it's you know we got to start playing chess. You know,
have you seen any immigrants yet out in New York? It's funny because I'm like I said, I'm like 30-40 minutes from the Bronx and Queens. But I go northbound if like you know I'll, like not to say Boston is not liberal, but if I could go to Boston or New Hampshire, I'm one of those types of people. Even though New York is closer to me, but
yeah, I think that Christians are weak.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we're in this situation now. And you know, that's why when I meet Christians that are soft, like man, you kind of like disgust me. Like you know, you have no conviction. Like you don't believe the things you say you believe. Christians will always say, "If God be with us, who can be against us?" Well, let me see it. Let me see it play out in life.
Faith.
Yeah. You know what are you really convinced of? You know, so I don't. You know when I don't know, but speaking of which,
Pat
I
said no immigrants in South Jersey as of yet, but in Philadelphia, definitely.
I don't mean to just like switch topics and get off on script, but when you were growing up, what did you believe? Like, what was your perception of Christians? Because I remember last time you were saying that, you kind of you didn't discriminate against people's religion, and the Christians were always like, if you don't do this, you're going to hell. Like, what was your overall perception of Christians and Christianity as a whole?
I didn't really have anything. I lacked in knowledge, and when I was 12 years old, my father used to take me to this Christian church in New York on 42nd Street in Amsterdam, and on Sundays to get familiar with Orthodox, which I told you that I was baptized into the Orthodox
Yeah.
religion. But that it wasn't consistent. It kind of just blew away after a while. And that was when I was 12 years old. And then when I also got, like when I was 13, I got introduced to the Pentecost denomination, because Ethiopians, even though our main religion is Orthodox, we also have like Protestant, Evangelist, and Pentecost under that umbrella. I mean, separate umbrella as well.
Yeah.
The Pentecostals, some of them, I became familiar with the word Pentecost.
Yeah.
So I've seen Ethiopian Pentecost, and I've seen like Black American or white American Pentecost. For some reason, when I was 13, the Pentecost was telling me that if I don't become a Pentecost, I'm going to go to hell when I die. And what greater time than when I'm about to be a teenager or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And that really put a bad, like the Orthodox, I didn't experience. The only thing with Orthodox was when I was young and I was a child and stuff like that, I was just unclear about it. I didn't have the knowledge. But Pentecost and just even different denominations of Christianity, some Pentecost and Protestant or Catholic or whatever, they kind of put a twist in my stomach, like just the hypocrisy that I was seeing directly with Christianity. And that could have been Black people, white people, Ethiopians, whatever. That really was turning me away. And then I just kind of got like curious towards Islam. I was just always curious. I just wanted to know, like a part of my non-discrimination towards different religions was my curiosity to get close to whatever faith I should rightfully follow.
Yeah.
So right now that I'm looking back in hindsight and just have an understanding of things, I just want to get closer back to Orthodox because, like I told you last time, it's the Old Testament. So I just want to really get some type of, I don't want to say closure, because closure is probably when I die, but I just want to have a real understanding of Orthodoxy and why is it that from the time, like, because you have Greek Orthodox people too, just like you have Russian or Ukrainian Orthodox or whatever, from other countries. Every time I've had these like conversations with Ethiopians or my mother or Greek or whatever, they always tell me that Orthodox is the truth. And I understand people could be biased to whatever they subscribe to, but for some reason I feel like yes, there has to be something there with Orthodoxy. It has to be something. So I don't know. Like I said, as I get older or whatever the case, I just hope to get a clear understanding and some type of clarity to what is it that I was baptized into when I was a baby.
Well, I mean, my thing is, it's not, I don't really care what people believe. Like I said, it's always about why. So, for me to just for me to tell a non-believer that, my beliefs, I'm really convicted in, the truth. I really believe that God's word is the truth, and you should too. I think that's a little bit foolish on my part, because in order to be convinced in one's heart, you have to be trialed. What you're being told, it has to be put to test. There has to be evidence, of is it true? Because if you put it to the test and you don't get the result that's prescribed, by whatever doctrine that you're getting it from, then there's a disconnect somewhere. So it's like, the other day, I was just thinking, I'm like, man, what proof do I have that God's word is real? That the Bible, that the faith that Jesus Christ had, that he had, what proof do I have is that it's real, that it's the real deal? And I was just like, I was sort of kind of grieving inside. I was like, how can I show people people that, this is the truth. When, sometimes I'm all up and down. And then then it hit me like the witness, the greatest witness is me, my life. Like I look at my life and, I'm pretty blessed. Like, I don't live a hard life. I have hope and, I have hope and joy in my heart, so, and, it comes out of me even in my most dire situations. When I'm down and other people are down, I'm able to, to draw inside of that well and pick people up, and share that joy with people, and a lot of people are not like that, so I'm like, every individual, they have to be convinced first before they come and tell anybody else that, it's the truth, because other than that, it's just speculation, so I don't know, but
To add to that, I've definitely been operating in faith.
I
Like I always I have faith, like, like with America, it's like, oh, is America going to become communist? And I always have that, like, gosh, we're, if not, we're already there. I think we're communist, especially like during the time of the vaccine and stuff like that. Like me, I used to be in the medical field for 9 years, but I'm not in the medical field anymore. And I literally lost my career and my dad at the same time. So it was just like a lot, like a lot of that was involving the vaccine, or like during his last like few weeks of being alive. Like I knew they were, like the hospital, Stanford Hospital, I knew they were going to do something. Like, I got him there on the ambulance and everything like that, but I knew Stanford Hospital, which where I'm at in Connecticut, I knew they were going to do something to separate me from my father. So and I just have this like this grudge against them, like this heavy grudge against Stanford Hospital. But it's like, and then like I said, I lost my career in the medical field. um that's why I'm surprised I'm still in Connecticut. Like I can't believe I'm still here. But I somehow, some way, I still operate from faith. Like I have this thing in me. I'm just like, oh my God, like America's not going to become communist. But then it's like I'm tug of warring with myself. I'm like, yes, it's going to become communist. No, it's not going to be communist. Even like for the Black community. Like I said, as I told you, I was former pro-Black. I mean, why are you? What's so funny?
I let that vote sink. I let
You get up.
I let that vote sink. Like I'm not, there's no virtue in it. It's like the Bible says, the flesh profits nothing. The spirit gives life. Why am I trying to save some niggas that don't want to be saved? Like why? Like they don't. God made salvation open to everybody. It's the gift of God, and they don't want it. Why am I wasting my time with that? God didn't say people because they were black, white, or whatever. God made salvation open to everybody. So like I let that boat sink. Like I'm like, man, y'all can die on that shit, man. Y'all can die listening to Ice Cube or whatever degenerate rap to listen to. Those niggas that up where you from, like KRS-One and all
Wait,
those
what?
all those 5%, like
This is
you know
hip hop
like
started in the, well, not, I'm from Connecticut, but in the Bronx. It's where hip hop started.
on the Titanic when they were playing the violin when the boat was sinking. That's what these niggas are listening to, some kind of like rap music, fight the power while the boat is sinking and shit like that. So I mean the whole black identity is communist from its inception. The black identity that's been passed down to us. Now, originally, I don't know what it was originally. I've only been here 37 years. But the one that we inherited is inherently communist. Like everything about black culture is
It
communist,
is.
and communism is evil. It's from the pits of the abyss. Like the people, the forefathers of communists, they were all atheists or just super. You said what?
Atheist, Jewish.
I mean, those when we say Jewish, we have to
Uh,
make a distinction.
don't laugh at how I say it, but like Ashkenazi.
No, Ashkenazi. Even with that, that's just a lineage. That's just a bloodline.
Like people from like Germany or Austria or like Poland or a little bit of Russia or Ukraine.
Yeah,
They're
but just
white. They're still white.
oh yeah,
They're
definitely.
still white.
But
You know.
but my thing is just because they're Ashkenazi, they don't make them Kabbalists. The people, the quote unquote Jews that that are doing all this evil stuff in the world, they're Kabbalists. They don't follow the Torah, the 5 books of Moses. They don't follow that. They follow the Kabbalah. So I mean, and the Kabbalah is, it's like Jesus said, you'll know them by their fruits. There's a reason why the Jews, that actually adhere to the Torah. There's a reason why they're so wealthy. It's because they follow the principles of God's law, and by result, they acquire wealth because it works, and God put those laws here for everybody. It's just when we as Christians say, well, oh, we only follow the New Testament, we're leaving out all the principles of the Old Testament. So it's like,
I swear I gotta get into the Old Testament because the way I'm operating right now, like the way I operate in faith and I operate in discipline. So I really got to get into the Old Testament, which is like the epitome of orthodoxy and everything like that. I have to ask you a question.
all right,
So, in regards to globalism, right? Do you think, there's that question, can one be pro black yet reproduce with like a white person or Asian or Latino,
yeah,
right? But let me take a step further. Can one be conservative? Doesn't matter what they're like, a white conservative, black, Spanish, whatever. Can one be a conservative and reproduce with somebody, like let's say if it's a white man, and he reproduces with a black woman, let's just say, can he be conservative?
if a white
Ideology is conservative, like he's fiscal conservative, less taxes or whatever, and he's pro America, he's a patriot, whatever. Is he still conservative if he reproduces with an Asian, black, or a Latino woman?
no,
He's not, right?
if they're liberal,
Liberal, yes, because
no.
liberal. That's what I think we're facing. What a lot of people don't understand is we're facing um, conservative nationalism versus liberal globalism.
Yeah,
That's what the world, like you talk about immigration and interracial dating, it all folds into that, right?
yeah,
Like conservative nationalism versus liberal globalism, correct?
yeah.
So when we look at you probably know a list of more black conservatives than I do, but
No, I
I'd
know.
say our realist black conservative would be Ben Carson, right?
I
I mean, I
guess.
love Clarence Thomas, and if he's happy in his marriage, I'm happy for him. I'm not against interracial dating. We're just talking facts, though, regardless of what our personal opinions are. But I would definitely say Ben Carson is like he is a conservative, obviously, and he also married a black woman,
Yeah,
and it's crazy. You think the black community? Well, no, not you. You said the Titanic has sunk, but
and they're,
Ben
they're
Carson
still listening to rap music. On the water. They're still listening to rap music on the water too. So
definitely. You got a problem with my New York hip hop? What you
yeah, yeah.
just listen to Bun B and Scarface? That's it. That's what it's to
I,
do.
I like Nas. I listen to I think one of my favorite albums of all time is 36 Chambers. Um, Illmatic, Stillmatic. I think Stillmatic is one of the best albums ever. I was a huge Jay-Z fan growing up, but I mean it's all New York dudes are kind of that whole New York swag is corny to me. Like,
Oh,
done. What up, done? What up, son? And all that. Like, I'm like, man, sit down, dog. Like, come on, bro.
New
Sit down.
my New York rappers come first,
You said what?
and in hip hop,
Uh
like
huh.
my New York rappers come first. I grew up through the East Coast West Coast beef, and I do like West Coast rappers. And like I said, Bun B's been around since I was little. So like that rappers. I see the way you feel about New York. I kind of not to that extremity, but I kind of that's what I like the southern rappers like Atlanta and stuff like that. At least Texas got a little bit, but um, when the South took over back in the early 2000s, I wasn't feeling that.
We're feeling it. We talk too slow for you.
Not that. I just like my New York rappers come first. My New York rap like that's forever for me.
I mean, they fell off though. I mean, all that. I don't know. They just kind of like they kind of come. A lot of them come across as cornballs to me. You know that all that.
You haven't been to New York, right?
Nah,
You don't care.
nah, I don't. I used to want to come to New York to play at the Rucker. Because like
Mm-hmm.
New York was like it for basketball. I really want to see how good I was. But now that I'm grown, I see that a lot of those guys were trash. They weren't that
Oh
good.
my gosh.
It was just a hype man saying, "Oh, look at him, look at him, look at him, look at him go, look at him go," and like that'd be annoying to me. Like I'd probably throw the ball at the announcer and be like, "Man, shut up."
I was supposed to go there in the summer and hustle, but I was too lazy to do it because, like I said, I get tired all the time.
Yeah,
But just,
yeah, but
like I said, I'm 40 minutes away from New York. I mean, I'm like 15 minutes from Portchester, New York, but I'm like 40 minutes away from the city. And I don't go. I don't really. You know what it is? Even though I move fast, I can move very quick like a New Yorker. But I'm just tired of the hustle and bustle at this point in my life, to be quite honest with you, because I've done it for so long. So I'm just very, even now, like when I go grocery shopping or when I drive or when I just do different things and people are very slow in front of me, I get anxiety. But when I go south, when I'm in like Florida or North Carolina, I check myself. I make sure I can still be myself, but I make sure I kind of operate on their time so that I can lessen this anxiety. Because I don't understand, like, I'm in a place where even Connecticut, we have to move fast. So Connecticut is more slower than New York, but I don't, like, if I'm in a place that moves fast, like, let's move fast, get the hell out my way. Um, I don't know. But like I said, when I'm in the South, at least, like, if the South is slow, at least I can move at my own pace, if that makes sense.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That
It just, I don't know, everything about the South just makes more sense to me. Like, I don't know what it is. It just makes more sense. It's just, I don't know. Like, if
yeah,
you tell me to move fast, not saying that somebody's telling me to move fast, but if I'm in a place and everything is like, hurry up and we're on a New York minute, then come on, everybody, let's hurry up.
yeah.
Can't, it's getting on my nerves. Like, it's like when I'm grocery shopping, when I'm driving, when I'm walking, it's just like people just move too slow. And I just, I'm tired. I want to leave that life. I just don't.
Move to that.
Actually, Houston seemed mellow to me. It was ratchet.
Yeah.
I was chilling with Rico, so
My homeboy came here. He came here to do some work here yesterday, and he was telling me how grungy it looks here. And I'm like, yeah, that's how it is. I think if you want to move, like move to Dallas. Like Dallas is an enjoyable city, and it's easy to enjoy it too.
and my niggas are characters and they talk too damn much. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But to answer your question about when you say conservative, you say like a black conservative. Like, what do you mean by that?
Oh, like when I was talking about Ben Carson.
Yeah, do you mean just somebody that is black and conservative, or somebody that wants to conserve black culture?
Yeah, like what I'm saying is because and I say this all the time. I'm about to I should get a shirt made for it, but I always say nationalism is necessary because I do believe that it's not like I'm not coming from a place of hate or discrimination when I say that nationalism is necessary. But you see, like how you got like the Hispanics sticking together, the Asians, like whether the Indians or whatever. And I always say I wish the black community had nationalism because the black community does not have nationalism. If they did, they'd be as prominent as the Asians and the Latinos, right? But black people don't have nationalism. Um, and I believe that nationalism is necessary because you get to reserve your own ethnic group, whatever, I don't know, Ethiopians, Jamaicans, Nigerians, Scandinavians, Sweden, Norway, so on and so forth, whatever, however, hundreds of countries that we have in the world. Um, but I believe nationalism is necessary. But when you look at the globalist agenda, it's to wipe all of that out. So I'm not against interracial dating per se, because if you notice too, like, and I get feedback on my comments and stuff like that. Like, let's say if you have like a white female and she has a black husband or baby father or whatever, and then they have a mixed biracial child, the world is constantly picking on that biracial child just with societal norms, right? And I hate to call it a societal norm, but that's just what it is, because that biracial child is dealing with tug of war from the white side, from the black side, and they grow up with identity issues and literally mental health issues. And that's why when I hear people say, and I just posted it on a Instagram story, like this white guy was like, no disrespect, but I just want to stick with my white woman. And he was like, I would like to tell black women that they should reproduce with their black men, have a beautiful black child. Like, he's saying the same thing I'm saying. Like, he's saying, like, reproduce with your own so that your community, whatever ethnic or whatever, will still be like your genetic makeup, your phenotype will live on. It won't die out or it won't run out. And then the biracials in the middle, they don't know. I mean, they typically, if it's a white mother and a black father and the black father is absent, those biracial kids are going to reproduce with a white person. And then the black genes are going to run out. And after the next generations, they're going to become a quadroon and they're going to become an octoroon. And the black genes, you know, the milk is being poured into the hot chocolate and it just becomes, you know, turns into milk.
So what is important to you, the preservation of culture or the preservation of phenotype?
Wow, that's a good question. Is the culture good or bad?
It doesn't matter. It's just...
It doesn't matter?
Yeah, I mean, because if you're conservative, we're trying to conserve a culture.
Not phenotype?
I mean, all that, it doesn't, you know, for me, I don't see the world as people trying to preserve phenotype. All conquest is about, you know, trying to let your culture dominate. That's why they don't. That's why they kill men. They kill men and they use the women to reproduce. So it's not they don't. It's not about phenotype. It's about culture.
What culture?
The dominant culture, whatever culture you espouse yourself to. So, you know, like for me, it's more important for me for my values to be passed down rather than for my phenotype to be, you know, preserved. You know, my genes, you know, genes are genes. Genes cannot be wiped away. You know, they're gonna eventually like resurface somehow. You know, so yeah, I don't know if we should really be operating from that premise because for like, like take you for instance, you say that most, well, you didn't say it, but I'm kind of like assuming that most of the black men where you're from are liberal. So if you want a conservative man, you're probably gonna have to find that outside of the phenotype that you desire.
So are you telling me I have to deal with a white man?
I'm not saying that. You're saying
I'm
that.
asking. So put it like this. Who would I have to deal with? See, I'm speaking East African chick spying on me right
If you
now.
want to,
A white man a few weeks ago.
what?
She called me a transracial white man. This, what's her name? East African 22 or 23, whatever. She's
Oh,
just spying on me. She's probably Elon Umar's cousin. I don't know.
yeah. Well, I'm not gonna. If y'all got beef, I'm not gonna. I'll let that. So, I made enough enemies in my life, but nah. So like, you're asking me if you want a conservative man, who do you have to date? You date?
Just a man of good character, right?
Yeah, a man of good character doesn't matter what skin he's wearing. He just if he has good character, he has good character. That has nothing to do with your phenotype, and that's why this pro black thing is stupid, because you're trying to conserve a culture that's inherently evil.
Well, I guess I'm kind of liberal because when I reproduced, I didn't reproduce with an Ethiopian. So
But I mean, you were pro-black, you know,
yeah, that's what it was all. So yeah, in that phase of my life, because I used to have you, I don't know. I'm gonna probably sound delusional, but when I was in that lifestyle, I used to think like, oh, Ethiopian, African, Haitian, Jamaican, West African, South African, Black American. I used to think we were all the same, and I used to operate. But I used the way I know it sounds delusional. It sounds crazy,
it is.
but but when I operated that way, I was genuine. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like my intentions, as far as I'm concerned, my intentions were good.
yeah.
Like I just I'm like, oh, we're all black, da, 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 da. And it made me, to be honest with you, when I look back in hindsight, I left that lifestyle because I was lost because I was just being this constant kind person. You talk about like support black business and coming through and all of that. Like I did things, didn't charge people, looked out for people.
Oh,
People didn't look out for me. Not to sound like a tit for tat, but I'm just saying that's how the energy was. And when you submit to the pro black lifestyle, you constantly have to prove yourself. And it never ends. It's like you constantly have to seek validation from a group of people that seek validation from white people. And I couldn't do it anymore because not saying I realized that towards like the end. And when I fully grasped that, I had no choice but to leave that lifestyle. Like I had no choice but to be like, you know what, whatever. Like this isn't it. This is. It was just a lifestyle that I was lost. Like I was abusing myself. Like just I don't know how to explain it, but it was just it was not like how do you try to save something that just can't be saved? You understand? And that's just.
that's what I'm trying.
But I'm telling you, like, not to be funny, but like, I swear my intentions were good. I swear, like and I would be like, oh my god, I'm East Af like let's say like the continent of Africa. Like if I see Africans in New York or something like that, or just getting my hair box braids or whatever. Oh yeah, I'm from East Africa. You're from Senegal. You're from Ghana. Those chicks, they're so mean, and they pulled my edges out at one point. Like it's just like I can't now. I don't get my hair done by the West Africans no more. And then I remember I went to White Plains, New York, like 15 minutes away from where I'm at, and I took my daughter with me to get my hair done. This was like like 3 or 4 days before they shut everything down for COVID. So it was a mother and daughter ran
Yeah,
business. And my daughter was 5 years old at the time, coming up to me, hugging me. And then the daughter acts like the daughter, she's like 25 and her mother's like 50, something like that. She was like, wow, why? She was like, why does your daughter keep hugging you and holding you? These are like West African bitches asking me this question. I'm sorry, they're so mean. That's what I'm trying to get to. So I used to have that mentality of, oh, I'm East African, you're West African, we're together. Oh, love and peace and stuff like that. It was no use of me thinking that way because a lot of them are grimy. And then even the West Africans, they don't care about Black Americans. Like Black Americans, oh, I'm about to move to Ghana. I'm about to move to Nigeria. Okay, bye. Get the fuck out of here. Go move over there then. But I'm telling you that they don't care about you. They don't care. They don't care. Like, how can West Africans care about Black Americans if they are the ones that gave up Black Americans to slavery generations back? Not all, because there were some Black people here in America, right? But I'm saying, for those Pacific boats that they, whatever, they're just very evil. But here, I'm pro-American. I'm America first. Oh yeah, I'm from Connecticut. You're from Texas. Oh yeah, you're from California. Because I only travel in the States right now. I have my passport, but I haven't left the country in like 3 or 4 years. So I only travel in the States. And I do that for, like, I don't want to go to other countries and they're like, oh, look at this American. They treat me like shit. Because that's what they did to me in Cancun, Mexico. And I went there like by myself back in October 2020 on my birthday when I drove to JFK and just went to Cancun. And these Mexicans were treating me like shit. I'll never go back to Mexico.
you need a man.
You know what? Whatever. Why would you say that? That's what you get out of this conversation?
Yeah, because like you got a man ain't just gonna go nowhere and get allowed. He's not gonna allow nobody to treat you like shit. Like that's.
saying I need a man because I was telling you my experiences.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, people not gonna treat you like shit if you're spoken for. Like, I'm not gonna have a woman and somebody just treating her like shit. They gonna smell my cologne. Like, that's what Pimp C said. I'm gonna pull up. So they gonna smell my
That's
cologne.
Texas
Say
style.
what?
That's Texas style.
That's my style.
Oh, okay.
Not gonna treat my woman is an extension of me. So you're not just gonna treat her anyhow. Like nah. You know, so that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, but that goes back to the whole thing about just this man women dynamic. You got all these single women in society. You know, they don't feel protected. They don't feel spoken for. So, you know, it's kind of like going to the mechanic, and the mechanic takes you for all your money. You know, because you just need an oil change, and then he ends up, you know, changing your catalytic converter when there ain't nothing wrong with it. You know, but
Yeah, mechanics by myself.
He said what?
I go to the mechanics by myself.
Yeah, you don't know what they doing to you. You know, you don't know what they doing. They
Actually don't play with me because I've trained myself to understand what's going on and understand like a little bit of the diagnosis and a little. I guess I'm operating in a masculine way. I guess.
I mean, you got to survive.
Choice.
Yeah, you got to survive. I mean, it is.
So I don't like because me. I developed a relationship. I, I have a Nissan, so I've developed a relationship with Nissan. I've been a loyal customer. Like I might do little side stuff or whatever, but like whatever I believe like if I have a car, just go to the dealership and just get the top quality, whatever brand it is or whatever, whether it's Japanese, American, or a German car, whatever the case may be. So I feel like when you develop a relationship and you're consistent, like I operate in a way towards male mechanics where they know I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
So I not to say it like that, but yeah, they
Do you,
played before and I didn't like it. So don't play with me.
do you
I
have
put Firestone on blast. I don't know if that's in Texas, but I think that's an East Coast thing. I put certain car shops on blast or whatever, and I don't know. I just get a little. That's my feminine side. So
do you have a Sentra or Altima?
I have an Altima.
The Altima is the single black woman car.
That's why I had to pause for a second.
Yeah, but
I don't care. It's mine. I paid it off, and when I travel, I get different type of rentals and play around with different cars. So I really don't. I like, you know what it is? Because when I was, I was gonna switch that car, and when I went to the dealership and they was having it, because they get different types of cars, not just Nissan. And when they told me, this is what I'm telling you, they don't play me. When I was ready to switch the car, this was back. Remember when they was having an inventory issue, just anywhere, like.
yeah.
Like, no, just keep it, just keep it. They was telling me to keep it. That means that they was looking out for me. You understand? So not to say it like that, but I've developed a good relationship. But I'm about to develop a new relationship with Chrysler, and then I'll go to Land Rover.
Hey.
I'm not really. I don't know. Like I love cars. I play around with different rentals, but my car that I paid off. It boosts my credit with because I like to budget money, so I don't know. I have no choice but to operate like this.
Yeah.
I thought she was mobbing in a black Maxima. No, I have to save my gas. You know, a Maxima is a 6-cylinder, so I'll keep my Altima 4-cylinder. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I have an Infinity. I got a G35, man. That shit drinks so much gas. Yeah.
So you got the better sister. You got Altima. You got Nissan sister.
Got the uppity sister.
Prettier sister. The
lucky
sister.
It's fast, but I mean it's high maintenance too. And then I have a Mercedes as well, and it's great on gas, but it's on ice right now. Like, and I haven't had time to really just you know fix it. Like it's on jack stands in the garage, but
like body work only or mechanical work.
No, it has a bad oil leak, and I don't want to. I think it's like it's not good to be driving everywhere leaving oil. So you know, I think that's not cool. But
I heard that's somebody uploaded a video of Kevin Samuels. Sorry. I guess he was living with this lady and she put him on blast and he used to take, I don't even know, allegedly. She claims that he was driving around with like oil leaking or whatever and that he would put cardboard below the
Yeah,
car to,
yeah,
oh,
yeah. You got to, because it looks bad. It makes the neighborhood look bad. But yeah, all in all, the whole all black, like that's why I say Pan Africanism is scam Africanism. Like there's no such thing. Like even Africans within their own countries, they bang on each other. You know, because
yeah, that East African chick that fucking came in here or whatever, she's from Somalia.
yeah,
Somalians are about to come at Ethiopians because I'm just going into what you're saying. Like and back home in East Africa, that's what Elon Umar was talking about. She basically said that she's gonna have America do what she wants for Somalia and make sure that even though she disrespected America, she's gonna make the U.S. government assist Somalia and make sure that Ethiopia doesn't take Somaliland so that Ethiopia can have access to the water,
yeah.
right? So, so like 15, I mean, like, what is it? Like, yeah, like 15th century or before that, Somalia used to be a part of Ethiopia or whatever. But it's, she has the audacity to come against Ethiopia like that. And pretty much there might end up being a war with Ethiopia, Somalia sometime later this year, and it's over just so Ethiopia could have access to the water that it used to have access to, but when Eritrea parted ways in 1993, that was gone or whatever. But I tell you what, Africans are so evil to one another, and it's like the Somalians, like there's a place called Somaliland. So what's up in the air? Does it belong to Somalia? Does it belong to Ethiopia? Does it belong to Djibouti? Right. So it's not claimed by. I think it belongs to Ethiopia. I'm not being biased. I'm just saying when you like geographically speaking, it belongs to Ethiopia, or at least Ethiopia. They could all split it. Just have access to the water. Have that nice maritime trade. Right.
Yeah.
Here's my thing with Somalia. I bet you if China tries to come in there, or if like the British Parliament tries to come in there, oh, you can have it. But because Ethiopia wants to utilize it, and because Ethiopia finally wants to have access to water, it's like their fellow neighboring African. And this is the problem with Africa, East Africa, West Africa, South Africa alike. They'll let the French, the British, the Dutch, and in recent times they'll let the Chinese come in. They'll let the Chinaman come in and take over. But when they see their neighboring African country or whatever, they'll kill them and slaughter them. And I can't respect that. I don't know. I can't respect that.
I mean,
I just can't.
that's what I'm saying. Like that's why the whole Pan
It's
Africanism is stupid.
fake.
They don't they,
Fake.
they don't see each other as fellow countrymen, and so it's stupid. It's just it's basically it's just the worship of skin. Black Americans don't understand how tribal Africans are. Black Americans are tribal. Just look at this whole it's all culture. It's all about culture. They're different. They're like when you're black, going to school and you do your thing, or or you from a good family, that people call you uppity, or they say you think you're better than everybody. You think you're better than us. So Black Americans are tribal. Like people are tribal, period. And there's nothing wrong with being tribal as long as your tribe is based on values.
That's it.
It's based on good values, then yeah, you should be tribal. I don't want to live next to weirdos and all that. It doesn't make sense. Like I'd be putting my wife and my children in danger because I want to be black. Like hell no, fuck that. But anyway, golly, like what what topic we want to talk about? Let's hit two topics right quick. Um,
We got to circle on Putin and Tucker probably like next week.
yeah, that because I've been researching the Bolsheviks and
Hmm.
how Russia fell. But it's funny because, like I said, I see everything in a systematic light. Communism spread spreads because of economic instability, and and economies collapse because of cultural, upheaval and social upheaval. So like feminism is is cultural upheaval. It causes societal instability, and then it's going to cause economic instability. By consequence. So that goes back to what I was saying about it. It's stupid when you say that women should stay home. We can't have women go home now if they're not married. If they're not married and being provided for, we can't let them go home. But that said, why are women in the workplace anyway? What was the original intent? If people want men to make more money, then they need to start encouraging women to not work, because if you have a lot of women working, then what that does is it inflates the available number of laborers, and if there's more laborers, then the pay goes down.
So does that go back to the boomer generation? Like, are they to blame? Like, I guess, like when the feminist movement started, it was for a sense of security, like financial stability, because
No, it wasn't.
it
No,
wasn't.
it wasn't. Women,
Women were well taken care of.
yeah, like feminism was an ideology to destabilize society. That's what it was the whole time.
No,
They
that was the agenda, because now that it things have come full circle, it's to attack women and get rid of women. Not like fast forward. I'm not like, but like in the 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s, do you think there was? I'm not talking about the movement. Now I'm talking about individual women. Do you think there was a lack of security somewhere in there, whether white women, black women, just American women?
no,
I'm not talking about Africans.
no. What this is what these people do. They will come in and they target like a small minority of marginalized groups, and then they put a battery in their back, and they use these people as foot soldiers to spread their propaganda and make everybody believe that, oh, you're oppressed. It's kind of like they done with black people. You're oppressed. The white man has oppressed you all over. You oppressed your people all over in the world, and this, that, and the other. And whereas, if you just look at it in a vacuum, most black people here are fine. They're not starving. Like, most black people here aren't starving. Most black people here are not like poor, like as far as like absolute poverty. Even poor people here have cell phones. I saw a homeless man the other day. He had on Jordans. You know what I'm saying? So, I think that women were fine, like where they were. But they took a small group of women that were malcontents. They put a battery in their back, and they used those women to spread their ideology. Now you got all these women talking about, I don't need a man, and all this shit, and the whole time it was a lie. Like, I'm just like speaking from. I'm not speaking for men. I'm speaking for me when I say this, but I think that women fall apart without men. Like, men can our lives suck without women. Like, I
Well,
just
act like it. Not you personally, uh, because
we do.
and I keep talking about them. Just sound like a broken record, but
We,
a lot of these guys are very hypersexual. I get it. We're wired different as men and women, so I'm not trying to sit there and tell a man what to do with his body. But when you sit there and you're constantly having sex with different women, and you have no discipline, all these diseases are going around, um, and you just don't have no moral compass. You don't have God. It's like, what are women, let alone children, what are we supposed to follow? So sometimes I catch myself um, saying that I don't need a man too. I'm not a feminist. I'm not a feminist whatsoever. I don't like feminists. I remember being 12 years old, and I would see shirts like it says feminist, and I didn't even know the history about the voting or whatever the argument was, right? Or I didn't know nothing about, I was like 12 years old, and I told myself that when I was 12, that feminists are women that they don't want to see their friends being happy with their boyfriends, so they try to sabotage their friend's relationship. That's what I told myself at 12 years old that a feminist is. So fast forward, I was right, but I just didn't know about the voting history and oppression or whatever, so to speak. So so no, I'm not a feminist by all means. Um, but what I would have to tell you too is America is a place of freedom, and too much freedom is not good. And I just became knowledgeable because a couple of guys have side conversations with me. They talk to me about East African women in America, and you could call me naive or whatever you want to say. They told me that like like Ethiopian and Somalian women in America are liberal. And I was like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? I said, no. I said, we're conservative. But what I was doing, kind of like what I do with Sierra and Russell, I was inserting myself from literally my perspective, if you understand what I'm saying. Like I was literally, because I'm a conservative. So I was like, no, we're conservative. And
No,
they're
they're not.
like, no, they're like Ethiopian women and Somalian. And this is from Boston to DC. Like these are like to Tennessee. These are like different guys telling me different experiences. And what it all boils down to is yes, when you're from different countries, the women tend to be conservative when they're there. But actually, conservatism is not something you could turn on and turn off. It's something you can grow into because it's spiritual. But it's either you're a liberal or you're a conservative. Just like these Hindus and Bangladesh and Pakistani women, they're liberal too. And the whole thing about it is when they're in their country, they can't, what they do here in America, they can't do what they can do in their country. And then the reason why it was so hard for me to understand that these Ethiopian and Somalian women are liberal here is because I'm conservative. And what I'm trying to say is, you would think because I was born here in America, as like let's say like if it's an Ethiopian or a Somalian, they was born back in Ethiopia and Somalia, and then somewhere in their life they ended up coming here. You would think that they would be conservative or more reserved. I'll use the word reserved or whatever. You would think that they would be more reserved, and you would think that I would be the spoiled brat, especially being that I'm born in Connecticut, born and raised in Connecticut. You would think I would be, I'm born and raised in America. I'm free. I'm liberated. It's in me. You would think, but no, it's reversed. And mind you, I'm American as hell. I'm not. I mean, I love the Ethiopian culture. Ethiopian food is my favorite and whatever. But I'm very American. But I'm just very conservative. Like I'm just a conservative, and these women are liberal, and it was just very shocking to
It's
me. Like I don't. I'm still processing it.
not like East African women are very liberal, from my experience, and it's it's because of the stereotype. What is the stereotype of East African men? They're lazy. They beat their women. Um, they're alcoholics. That's the stereotype. Like I'm not saying that it's true. I'm just saying like what is the reputation? Because you always hear these women, like every time I've talked to an East African woman, she's always telling me how much her mom went through. The hardship that her mom went through, or like what her fathers and her uncles did and all that. So they kind of like I think like that kind of whole thing about being jaded towards men, and then you come in a country to where you have all these freedoms, and you
Tell
get
them
to see.
nothing.
Yeah, so I don't, like I said earlier, I don't think women are, I don't think they have like political leanings. They just kind of like go the way of their men. And they the state of women tell you the state of the men that they come from. you know so
Women freedom, they're loose. I mean, that could be men too. That could be anybody, no matter who you are. But these women tend to be loose.
well, but the thing
Not just
is,
sex, just you can't tell them nothing. It could be sex too, by the way, but I'm just saying, just you can't tell them nothing.
the thing is, this is what I'm saying about cultures. When cultures collide, the better culture is gonna win. So when these women are exposed to a better culture, of course they're gonna go all the way to the other culture. Like they're not gonna be like, okay, like there's a medium. There's like a gray area that I can exist in. You don't have to like go all the way in the other direction, but you take the good from where you're from, and you take the good from what you're exposed to, and you kind of like mesh them together.
So is that my answer? Being that I'm born and raised in America, it's not far fetched for me to be
I,
conservative.
I, I think I think
But my father was a Republican and conservative.
that
Maybe that plays a huge
yeah,
part.
I think that's what I was gonna ask you. I was gonna ask you about your relationship with your father, and
Like, cause I'm talking. My father is like Ronald Reagan, George Bush Senior.
were y'all close?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's why you are that's why you are. You're a reflection of your father.
yeah.
That's why.
I mean, I
So
went through
it's.
the puberty stage like any other girl, but
I mean,
I have
I,
I look like him because my mother is like brown skin, my father is light skin, and my brothers are darker like my mother, and then I'm light skinned like him. So it's just funny because I think I think and I act just like my father. Like my father was very, very big into politics and law library. He loved sports, and I don't know. I just think like him. I act like him. I talk like him, and I don't know. So maybe
yeah,
that's what it is. Maybe because Apple. I mean, I'm not. I don't call myself. My father was like Republican conservative. Like, but then I think the men from other countries too. They just tend to be kind of like here in America. It's similar. Like, let's say if you're from the Caribbean or Africa or Europe or just that's one thing worldwide that a lot of countries have in common one another is the politics. Like, especially with the men. The men tend to be like conservative, Republican leaning, just like here in America. Like I'm not. I mean, I don't know,
I
but
would say I would say conservative leaning because everybody
conservative.
their culture. I think that's what it is. But like I said, some cultures are better than others, and when given a choice, the people are going to choose the better culture. That's why I don't agree with all this. The white man came and oppressed everybody and colonized everybody. I guarantee a lot of those bush people that they colonized wanted to be colonized. They lined up and be like, hey, yeah, if I can get away from this warlord, like, and live like a person, that has dignity, of course. So I don't buy all that. Like human nature is pretty much the same. There's a verse in the Bible that said God fashions man's heart all the same. You know what I'm saying? So like we all just desire to be valued and to be free to live our lives. That's something we all desire. But
I must ask you, what do you think about the Indians, like the Hindus, taking over UK, like Scotland and Ireland? And I know I posted what I posted yesterday. I said that there are sewage curry armpit Indians taking over the UK. Yes, that's what's currently happening. There are people that respond to me because you know how there's that history of like, England or whatever.
yeah,
They colonized India, even to where it spread into East Africa, not Ethiopia, but like Tanzania, Uganda, and Kenya. And, there are people that tell me, oh, well, the British, they colonized the Indians. So now that if the Indians go into the UK, whether Scotland, England, or Ireland, who cares? Because they conquered the Indians first and all that stuff like that. And it's funny because when I used to be pro-black, I would have had that mentality. So I understand what those people are saying from that perspective. But going into what you're saying, um, it's like, yes, the British, they colonized India, but one of the biggest features of colonization is
yeah,
civilization. And
and
not
infrastructure.
the infrastructure, and not just that, but to make you civilized as a human being.
You
So it's like, what is your point of view? Like, do you think it's cool? Like, okay, we understand that the British came into India or whatever and conquered them and stuff like that, so much to where their education system is British and all that stuff. Um, do you think it's cool in reverse now that it's fast forward years later? Do you think it's cool how the Indians, like these sewage people, are just coming into Ireland and Scotland and just taking over like that?
Please stop saying that. Please stop saying
Because
that.
like cultures, like I don't know.
Well, my thing is, you know, it just depends on what's the intent. You know, I've worked with a lot of Indians, you know, talked to a lot of Indians, and you know, I think North and South India are different. Whichever one is more Christian is typically they have a more they're I don't want to bash anybody, but this is from my experience, the ones that are from the Christian part, they're a little bit more easygoing, you know, they're a little bit more kind. You know, they say that you know, where they're from it's not a slum. You know, it's a higher quality of life.
Yeah, they're
You
more
know,
civilized.
yeah, whereas the part that is not Christian, you know, which is, you know, whatever, you know, it's a little bit more poor, and you know, life is a little bit more harder there. You know, so if you're taking this culture where people are impoverished and you know life is hard, and you're injecting it into a culture where you know things are, you know, you have a higher quality of life, and you know you're doing that for the sake of crashing the morale of that society. No, that's not cool.
No,
But you know,
that's exactly like I don't. It's not
it's all
cool.
about intent, and you know,
They're
it's
invading Ireland and Scotland, and I think anybody could agree. Like imagine, like you could be pro-black, you could be Spanish, you could be anything outside of the UK, or you could be any other European country for that matter. To imagine Ireland and Scotland like just becoming Hindu people, that's like the globalist agenda. That's not normal. It's not normal. It shouldn't be that way, because now that, like, let's say hypothetically however long it takes, right, if they get rid of the Irish or the British or the Scottish or whatever, so what happens next? Move, like, I don't know if it's because these white men conquered these Hindu people or whatever, and now you see these Hindu people, like, they work at AT&T, they work at all, like, you know, all these IT jobs and all that stuff. Now that, like, they've been civilized thanks to the white man, you know, as weird as that may sound. They became civilized by being conquered. Like, hey, we're going to take over and whatever, whatever. And now that they're more modernized, that's the word I want to use. Now that the Hindus are more modernized and they're going, okay, they're taking their knowledge or their working skills and all that stuff, their IT and all this stuff with them. When they take over Ireland and Scotland, what's next? Because a lot of these Hindus are very mean. They're very mean.
what the globalists are trying to do. They're trying to destroy the West because the West has a Christian value. It has a Christian tradition. That's all this is. It's a spiritual war, you know, and that's why I can't stand a weak Christian. Like, just move on. Just go ahead and lay down.
Yeah, at
Like,
this point.
I don't like it. But so like we gone 2 hours. We ain't really.
You got me missing Blanche, Chuck, Chad, and Keisha.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to go earlier, but I mean, shoot, hey, I mean, it's cool.
Yeah, my Sundays are for cutting through the culture.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I wish they'll have me on, but I tend to be a little controversial in the things I say, because like I'm kind of like my views are not like mainstream, but you know I can substantiate them though, according to the things that other people say they believe. You know, so I don't know, like it is what it is.
Yeah, they have to stick to that just for, because if they allow other people from the outside, it's not, you
But
know.
I mean, it's
I'm
funny because
just, I'm just going into the globalist.
yeah,
Not you personally. I'm just being.
Blanche had me on one time, and like I said something and everybody attacked me. Like, it was
Where what that was on through the culture or just like a live chat, like a general live.
had a live. We were doing a live one time, and I said something. Ooh, everybody just they came at me, but like I was like, shit, come on. I was like, I'm with it, like come on.
I
But
mean, we should be able to have like one thing about me. Like, I don't care about who's different than me or whatever. I don't like attacking people for thinking differently from me. Like, I don't know what people think. Like, what my social media character displays, but I'm very open to dialogue. I'm very open to different opinions, different views. I don't attack people. Be like, that's it. You're not invited to Thanksgiving, and we're getting a divorce, and
yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Like, I'm not like, I don't know.
yeah, I'm not dogmatic. One thing I don't know everything. I know that I don't know everything. So if somebody says something that sounds foreign to me, I'm gonna be like, "Well, explain." I'm not just gonna be like, "You're wrong." I'm just gonna be like, "Well, why?" Or I'm gonna say, "Well, why do you?" If you are wrong, be like, "Well, why do you feel that way?" So that's that's me. But right quick. So let's end off on a light note. So I said we are gonna talk about our what's it called? Our
Relationships.
the things we don't compromise on. You the things. Well, man, what did I call it? I guess just things like that you won't compromise on.
Like in a relationship.
Yeah, and looking for a mate. So instead of doing that, I'm gonna read some things and ask me if I'm and answer me if I'm asking for too much.
Oh, I know social media is going to be one of them.
So so these are my non-negotiables. That's what I said, non-negotiables.
Okay.
So
Are you trying to see like? Are you trying to see if I'm a feminist?
we're just having fun. It's just cause I think this live it was heavy. Like we're talking about some serious things. So we need to leave a light note.
Okay.
All right, so non-negotiables. She has to be loyal. She has to be she has to be strong. She has to be courageous. She has to be submissive. She has to want children. She has to be confident. She has to be humble. She has to be obedient. And she has to have good hygiene. Am I asking for too much?
No, but what does obedient and submissive mean? Give me examples, primary examples.
Obedient. What obedient mean? Obedient means she does what I ask her to do, without an attitude. I'm not a tyrant. Like if I'm gonna be a leader, then you have a job, right?
Yeah.
You disobedient to the rules at your job.
No.
So I mean,
I'm a little different, so.
but it's the same thing. So like if I need her to do something, then and I ask and she says no, then that's disobedient. Or if I make a rule, if I make if I make an executive decision on a matter of our household and she says no, that's disobedient.
Can you give me some examples?
That's the feminist coming out of you. So let's
I
say
just feel like those words, obedient, subservient, or what's it called?
it's
Submissive. And I'm not saying this towards you, or I'm just those words. It sounds tyrant to me.
okay. So all right. So let's play that game. That's cool. All right. So I'm asking you. Let's say we're married, right? Right? I'm asking you to be obedient or submissive to me. That's your primary directive. My primary directive is that I have to live to serve you and even die for you. Which one of us has the bigger burden?
You.
So what are we even arguing about? Like these words about submissive and obedient. Like, come on now, like I'm doing the heavy lifting here. All you have to do is just and then like given that I'm not a tyrant, like if I'm a tyrant, that's a whole different thing. But if I'm a guy that's working and and I have a direction for our household and for our children and our family, and you keep fighting me, that's disobedient.
That is
And submission
rusty. I'm sorry.
to what?
I said I'm a little rusty, relationship wise.
Nah, it's cool. It's cool. It's cool. I'm gonna we're gonna dust y'all. But so and then the submissiveness, like to submit means to bring yourself under the authority of another. That's all submission is. You're yielding your will to me. So instead of going out and instead of I want to travel, I'm like, nah, we can't travel. We can't travel now. We got things to do. And you like, okay.
Oh, I'd follow
Yeah,
that. Like,
you would follow that, but like what if it was something else? Like like what if it feels like we can't.
if I follow that, being that I love to travel, I should be able to follow because I like budgeting, so I understand.
Okay, so what if what if I didn't want our children watching Real Housewives of Atlanta or something like that? And I'm like, look, no more Real Housewives of Atlanta in this household.
First of all, I wouldn't allow that either, but thank you. Yes,
Okay,
yeah.
so it's something we agree on. Golly, okay, what is something that you like?
Why would a child watch that?
I'm just saying, like these things
It's not
happen, like, and that's
far-fetched. It's not far-fetched at all.
that's a silly.
I,
Um, yeah, what is a contention that okay?
how about electronics? Because I know that's like just in general, like electronics for the children. I guess maybe that'll be a little bit more
I don't know about.
iPad or going on like children going on YouTube.
Yeah,
That might be a little bit more.
I think that that's not. I don't think that that's something hard to come to an agreement upon. But let me ask you this, okay? Let me ask you this so I can get a better example. What is a contention that you and many women that you talk to? What is a contention that y'all have when it comes to men? And that you hear men complaining about. Like, what is a contention that y'all have?
Um, Men when they get into a relationship with a woman or get married or whatever their relationship status is, they want their woman to get rid of social media.
Okay, so
That's like a main one.
all right, so okay, good. Okay, so how about that? Like, if I say no more social media, like, would you be good with that?
No,
You wouldn't be good, but would you do it?
I would do it.
All right, then you pass. You passed you passed the test. Then you are a submissive woman. Then, but see, that's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Submission is not always, your desire. It's not always doing something that you want to do. This is the ultimate form of submission is sacrifice, right? So, and I was having this discussion last night. Jesus did not want to die. He prayed 3 times to God. He'd be like, "Look, I don't want to die. Like, if there's another way, like, let it be known. But nevertheless, I'll do what you asked me to do." You know what I'm saying? And so, like, he didn't want to do it, but he submitted himself to God's will. You get what I'm saying? So it's not always submission is not always just peaches and roses and unicorns flying everywhere and rainbows. Like, it's about swallowing your ego and saying, okay, this is not about me. This is about the big picture. And I trust him. I trust my husband. I trust where he's taking me, even though I don't like it. That's what that's what it is. You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree. But K Crown 77 just said she said that so reluctantly.
I know you
I
you
did.
see
I
people
did.
you should see the struggle on your face. Like it was just like,
I
oh my,
I
I don't know. You said what?
um huh?
You said what you
I
say?
said it reluctantly. He's right.
Yeah,
May I ask in return? So let's say we're married and you ask me to get rid of my social media, right? And let's say just like typically now, you see what I do. You see the type of content that I put out.
yeah,
You know, not that you're watching my page, but you have a little slight idea of what I do, right?
yeah.
So let's say we hypothetically we're together, we're married, and you see my content that I put out. What would be the reason that you asked me personally, myself, Lydia? Why would you ask me to get rid of my social media? What would be the reasoning for that?
I mean that doesn't matter for the example that I was trying to make, but for me, for me, because I can only answer I can only answer this for me. I'm the kind of person that I will never take something away without providing a viable alternative. So, you know, you do social media for what? You like to get your views out there, you like to get your opinion out there. You like to interact with people.
Yeah, for me, it's all about like knowledge and awareness and getting people to think, like critical thinking and having understanding that it's two sides to everything. So, what if it's this way? What if it's that way? I'm not on some like, I don't reveal my body. I don't, there's, I mean, I take pictures and I upload like pretty pictures of myself and stuff like that. But and mind you, this is me, the way I am right now. This is me as a single woman, right? So I'm not even in a relationship.
Yeah.
So when I was, let's say, like on Facebook, for instance, like 10 years ago, when I was with my daughter's father, there was things that I'd be on social media and I connect whatever, because Facebook is a little different than Instagram in terms of reconnecting or whatever, but I would keep things respectful. Like I would keep things, wouldn't go clubbing, wouldn't, there's just, and I wasn't married. I was just in a relationship, obviously, but we were together for like 3 or 4 years. But there's boundaries and respect in the relationship or whatever. And like I said, as a single woman, I'm operating on putting on knowledge. I'm not like on some OnlyFans kind of a thing, if that makes sense. I'm not like trying to put myself out there to make men want me or whatever, you know. Um, for me, it's about knowledge and awareness, and I want America to be saved. Like, my parents came here for upward mobility, and I don't want America to be communist. So I do videos, I do topics about knowledge and awareness. And even if I talk about celebrities, like I told you last week, if I say, like, they're still human beings. So I cut into the dynamic of man versus woman, or I don't know, geopolitics, just different things. So if you see that you're with me, why would you want me to disconnect that? And if I get to a point of being monetized and it's a source of income, and let's say I'm a stay-at-home wife, stay-at-home mom, so to speak, if you know that's a source of income for me, um, why? What, you're just gonna cut it off, even though I'm 100% faithful, I'm 100% home, just to answer my.
Yeah.
So
It sounds like you're speaking from a place of
I'm deflecting. You think?
like trauma. I guess trauma. Like maybe you faced this kind of situation before, or maybe you know somebody that did. But like I said, you I don't take anything away without providing a viable alternative. If I see that my woman enjoys just making content and she is monetized, then and I see a reason why she shouldn't do it. Like if the if the reason is a conflict of interest, like or a conflict of morals or whatever, if what she's doing is conflicting with those morals, then I mean, then I'm like, nah, you can't do it. But if it's not, if there's nothing inherently wrong with what she's doing, then I better have a damn good reason for trying to restrict her from doing it. And if I do, then I need to provide a viable alternative for her, because something that she enjoys doing. She gets fulfillment out of it. It adds to her wholeness. So as a man, a husband, and a leader, you got to take these things into consideration when you making decisions. You can't just like be a tyrant. You can't just like tell people you can't do this because I said so. That's never the
Exactly. That's my problem. Like for me, if I feel like I'm getting awareness out there, and then like I told you, here where I'm at, I don't have any connection. But like for instance, when I go south, I want to get into the community and stuff like that, and I just want to connect that way. It's not like sexual or anything, because that's not what I'm doing. So I feel like hypothetically, if I'm married, and a man did that to me, especially if he knows what I'm doing, and let alone I'm on my own path to God, anyways. I mean, to do things right, to be more in the spirit and not so much be in the flesh, I would feel deprived. And I'm just speaking for myself.
yeah.
But if I hypothetically on the flip side, I'm revealing myself, I'm getting it, I'm messaging other guys in my inbox, and I'm saying when I'm in a relationship or when I'm married, that's totally different. That's totally, and like I said, I'm single, and how my page is, how I operate, how I talk. This is me single. Imagine me if I'm in a relationship. That's like certain things. Like I don't know.
I mean,
I've been there. I've been there. Like I would just be on Facebook, just literally talking to my friends, my female friends, and I had my daughter's father, whatever. And it wasn't. I mean, I can't. If somebody messaged me like a guy, I don't even open up the inbox. You got to be like a family, like an uncle or a cousin or something. Like, so, I mean, I don't know. That's how I operate. So I think I might come off as a feminist right now, but I'm just telling you, that's just me as an individual.
nah, you're not coming across as a feminist. I was just playing, but like I kind of was like, okay, there's something behind this question.
Yeah, I definitely was reluctant. I'm not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
It's marrying.
that
Got another sister. You saying I look like the twins, or you saying I act like them? Smooth 5008.
I can see like you kind of favor them, but so all those things I asked for, that's not asking for too much.
No.
Cause I kind of like I got a list of like 40 things. So, but like the things
So um, spit out some more. Why not?
those are my non-negotiables. Another non-negotiable is she cannot be ghetto. I don't I don't,
That's
I don't want no ghetto chick.
going on Fannie Willis.
Hell, no. No. You you brought me to a place I wasn't trying to go. Like I'm not trying to talk. I put another thing like
Hood rats don't like me. I don't like hood rats. It's a
huh?
difference between being hood and being ghetto. I have a little bit of hood in me, but I'm not ghetto. I
I
just
don't.
can't.
I mean, like, look, if a woman has like an edge to her, she's a little feisty. That's
That's
cool. But
different. That's
that's cool. But that ghetto shit, like, I'm from Dallas. Like, some chicks there are so ghetto. It's. I don't know if you remember the
sorry.
Ali. I don't know those lace front those lace front that weave and shit like that. Like we started doing that. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? I did that.
With the installed baby hairs.
That was the worst
I
thing.
get,
That was
as you
the worst
see,
thing.
I get weave box braids, but that's like style for me.
You talking about like on Poetic Justice?
Yeah, that's what I had the past two lives.
I mean, I ain't tripping. I mean, it looked natural though, so I ain't really tripping on that.
Style, I think, right? But the lace fronts, I never had a lace front. I mean, I've had weave, but it wasn't for me. Just to try it. But yeah, lace fronts is like catfish. It's altering.
Yeah, I
What did
don't.
what did Fannie Willis said? She was like, I don't do that to my friends. She was like, because if he says I owe you a G, then I'll give you.
That's Fannie Willis is a hood rat. That's what happens when women vote. That's what happens when women vote. Look at y'all voting in Fannie Willis. So, you know,
That to my friends, but if he says, I owe you a G, I'll give you 1,000. How do you say that on the stand?
she ghetto. Like she don't got no kind of remorse. She got no class. That's another thing. I put like she has to be classy. That's non-negotiable. And then I left out an important one. She has to want children.
Yeah, I want more children. I want a son.
I'm just like she has to want multiple children.
What's
Like
multiple?
4.
Old, so
Oh yeah, not a smoker.
Why did I say that?
Can't be a smoker. Can't be a smoker.
Talk about weed or cigarettes?
Anything, not a smoker, non-smoker.
Could she take gummies?
He gummies for. I'm all the crack she needs. I'm all the dope she needs.
How about mushrooms?
For what?
Psychedelics?
For what?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. So no. You can't be a druggie. Like no. Um Somebody's telling on themselves. Now I'm playing.
Hey, Crown 77 said that he wouldn't notice that Fanny was wearing a diaper. Oh my God.
I don't fool with nah, I don't fool with Fanny. Like um yeah, I guess that's about it that I would read on. Everything else is just physical. But oh yeah. Excessive tattoos.
You don't like women with tattoos?
I don't like women. I don't like tattoos. I have no tattoos. So like, why would I have like a tattooed woman like that's tattooed all over herself? I don't really. I don't
Not
like it.
even if she has like one or two.
I mean, like that's cool. Like 1 or 2 is like if she has like multiple sleeves and she has her whole torso tattooed. Like nah, no.
I never got a tattoo before.
Yeah. Well, hey.
And I'm not going to, at this point in my life, I don't feel like it's necessary for me to get a tattoo. I always thought, because my daughter, her name's Olivia Rose. So I kept thinking, around like the time when I had her, oh, let me get a rose and Olivia goes through it or just, but no, I don't have any tattoos.
That's a common Habesha name, Rose, and
You said what?
that's a common Habesha name for girls, Rose and Hannah. And
Yeah, I didn't know Rose was.
yeah, there's another one. I forgot what it is, and it's gonna come to when we log off. It's gonna come to me, but I forgot. But yeah, so like those are my non-negotiables. Of course, she has to be sweet and feminine and all that, but everything else is everything else I can compromise on.
What can you compromise on? Like, give me like 2 things.
Like height and stuff like that. Like I
What
can
do you want your woman to be? Like, ideally. Like,
ideally like if I can build a chick, like on Build a Bear. Ideally, like tall, like 5'8" to 5'10", like 5'7" to 5'10". But like
you
I'm
get the new I'm 5'3".
yeah, my mom's 5'4",
What
so and I
you?
how tall am I?
Yeah.
6'1".
Really?
Yeah. Do I look short?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm 6'1". I'm 6'1" and a half. So but but yeah, like like I said last time, like we have all these ideas of who we want in our head, and then we end up dating like the opposite. Like so, like
Character based and not physical.
yeah. so that's why I say I can compromise on those. Like you can have somebody that looks the part but be a damn fool. So at the end of the day, the person is the thing inside. The person is not the package. The person is not the wrapping. The person is like what's inside. You know what I'm saying? So, you look at somebody all day, but if you don't like this person inside of them, you're not even going to be sexually attracted to them. So,
And do you have for whenever you get married, have you been married before?
on paper, yeah.
Oh my God, you legalized immigrant?
Long story. Long story.
What was I gonna ask? What did I mention? So, do you believe for yourself? I don't know about before, but like moving forward, do you believe like whatever woman you get married to, like let's say if she says to you she wants to wait to have sex until marriage, is that a non-negotiable for you?
Why you? I mean, look here, look here. All right. Here's what the Bible says: if a man entices a woman who is set up to be married to anybody, if he entices her to lay with him, then he has to pay a bridal price for her, and she becomes his wife. So if I entice her, we have to get married. Then we have to get married. I have to pay the bridal price, and I, we it's like it's that's lawful. Now,
So
if
you
she
have sex
if she
first.
entices
So that,
me,
hmm?
if she entices me to lay with her, then I'm off the hook. You
So
know?
you have sex with her first.
You said what?
You have sex with her first, then you marry her after.
You talk in what scenario?
No, just like whatever relationship you are with a woman. This is this is the one. She says she wants to wait until marriage, but are you saying you're gonna have sex with her first and then marry her
Not what
after?
I said. I didn't say that at all. What I said, this is what I said. If she wants to wait, that's fine. But if if a man entices a woman that is single, if a man listen to what is being said. If a man
I'm a female.
no, just listen, because women don't listen. If a man entices a woman to lay with him, then he is responsible to pay a bridal price, and she becomes his wife. And what that entails is that she receives her children, the children that come from our union, receive an inheritance from me, and I am responsible for her. So I have to make sure that she has house, shelter. I said house and shelter. That's the same damn thing. I have to make sure she's sheltered, she has clothes, she has food, and I am obligated not to withhold from her sexually. I am obligated. That's what it says in the Bible. It says I am obligated. But let's go back. Let's rewind. If I entice her, if she entices me, that's a whole different situation. So, I respect all in all jokes aside, I respect people's boundaries. If she wants to wait, that's cool. It's I'm pretty disciplined, and the thing about me, I'm loyal, and I hang my hat on being a good friend. So any woman with me, she's gonna have a best friend in me. So I'm always gonna protect her, and have her best interests at heart, and I'm gonna try to protect her heart, all in all. You know what I'm saying? So like if that's what she wants, that's cool. You know
Good to know good men still exist.
that's the whole point of my platform. That's the whole point of my whole platform whether I go viral or not, or become monetized, I just want people to understand that there are still good people in the world, and there's still people that want to do right. Like, this whole extreme culture that we see every day on social media, that it's either one way or the other, like, that's not real. Most people are kind of in the middle, and the other people are confused as hell. A lot of people are confused, but there are some sensible people in the world, and that's the whole point of my platform. If you watch the shows that I do with my friend, the guy, you see us having these conversations, so we're pretty sensible, and that's why I want to bring women on the platform, so the women that are sensible, they can get out there, so they can give people hope. They're like, okay, there are women with sense, not just like these crazy batshit feminists. So
So did I pass the feminist test?
yeah, with the submission.
I low key think you were giving me a feminist test.
Nah, I wasn't. But I mean, you asked the question. You the one that asked what is submissive and obedience. You asked it, so and then you told me to give you an example, so I gave it to you.
I think my mind is conditioned with the current events. It just seems like, I'm gonna go back to the manosphere. It just seems like the way that they're lining it up and stuff, it's like, oh yeah, I want you to be submissive towards me, and I'll have like 10 chicks on the side, and probably a man on the side, or two men on the side too, and just, I'm sorry, like, I know I keep like bringing these things up, but just the way society is right now, it's just very scary to me as a woman, and I'm just being honest with you. So this,
Yes,
they're still in the back of my mind, like, I have faith for America and I have faith for the Black community.
I,
There is stop. what's what's wrong with having faith in the Black community?
it doesn't exist.
Oh.
Faith in Santa Claus. That ass ain't coming down the chimney.
So even though you see
What?
the Black community waking
Time out. Let me ask you something. What are the unifying principles and values of Blackness? What are the unifying principles?
up culture wise, or literally Black people?
That's what entails culture. Principle, unifying values and principles.
Drama,
What else? What else?
sex, like gluttony.
Debauchery. You name 3 negative things. You want me to have faith in that? No. In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put on some scuba gear, and I'm going to get a bunch of bowling balls and put it on that sinking ship. And then I'm going to get some dynamite, and I'm going to blow it up. Like, that ship is gone. Look, the problem is not Black people. The problem is the culture that Black people embrace. It's the cult. No. Look. There's a neighborhood in Dallas County. It's a city. It's called DeSoto, Texas, right? DeSoto is known for having, like, a lot of affluent Black people. But what these people do is, they will adopt the toxic behavior which they came out of, and they were trying to bring it into the affluent neighborhood. Look at Prince George's County in DC and Maryland. It's going to shit. Why? Because of the culture that the people embrace. You know what will save Black culture? You know what's gonna save Black culture?
But I think you're gonna what?
What's gonna save Black culture is people like you and people like me coming together and having big ass families. And
Oh, okay. I thought you.
The culture.
I thought you were gonna say if it wipes. That's what I thought you were gonna say.
That's the only thing that's gonna save it. And nobody's talking about that. You got Black women out here talking about, I'm not gonna have babies. I'm gonna have one baby. Well, look, genius. If 2 people come together and have one baby, right? Those 2 people die off, right? They're dead. So guess how many people are left? One. Your numbers shrank because your stinking ass wanted to be selfish. Oh, I don't want my body to change. I want to have fun. I want to go traveling. Okay? So these are things that people don't think about. And that's what black culture is. It's myopic, it's short-sighted.
K Crown just asked, what did you think he was going to say? I thought he was going to say, like, if just black people just get wiped out, like extinct.
Nah, nah.
That's
There's
strong, right?
You said what?
Strong. That's too strong to say, right?
That's evil. I wouldn't say it. I wouldn't. I'm not an advocate of killing people. Like I'm an advocate of killing ideas. You know, like that. This whole thing about defending everything because it's painted in black is evil.
It
It's
is.
evil.
Like,
There is no other culture that does that. And what is black? Anybody can be black. That's another problem. If anybody can be black, you got Rachel Dolezal. She changed her name to an Igbo name, and then it's crazy. Anybody can be black. So we have in this mythical black community, there are nobody at the gates that are guarding the gates. And you know what? To answer that, there's no white community. You know what white people have? They have families. That's what they have. It's not about oh well, we got to be black. It's like no, what's a white name? What's a white last name? Armstrong. You're an Armstrong. Okay, that means something. That's what a white man would tell his son. You're an Armstrong. That means something. You know,
true.
black people don't.
That's legacy.
Yeah, legacy.
Mm-hmm.
That's where nations come from. Nations come from.
And that's what I was talking about, nationalism within your phenotype. That's what I was saying. Because, like, again, we're facing conservative nationalism versus liberal globalism. And within, like, heavy racial mixing, the borders, there are no borders, because as you know, without a border, there is no nation. And it's not just happening here, it's happening in the UK, and it's also happening in Scandinavia. And I just want to throw this in there with Scandinavia. I caught myself the past couple of months like, oh, you can't go to Sweden. You have to do something to become a citizen to go to Sweden, and because that's how it used to, like, Norway, Denmark, Sweden, and these Scandinavian countries. But I was so out of the loop that, come to find out, they're being bombarded with East Africans, and it's horrible because they're like having like these Somalians, like they're like slaughtering and killing like white women and doing all these evil things. Because the thing about like the Scandinavian countries is they have a Nordic system, and the Nordic system is they have capitalism and socialism at the same time, and the way that they've been doing it, it worked perfectly. Like to have the socialism, the communism, the socialism and the capitalism concurrent. Because if you do that in an area where the people are all the same demographic, the same ethnicity, the same culture, it works. But now they're about to, the scale of capitalism and socialism, even though they had it equally balanced, it's about to tip over because they've accepted the Western globalist agenda to let immigrants just come into Scandinavia. So it's just very sad. It's very sad. Like,
But like I said earlier, you're a woman, so you'll always be fine. But
always be fine.
Because if we get conquered, they're gonna let you live.
They're gonna let me live?
They're gonna let you live. If we get conquered, they're gonna let you live because they have to reproduce somehow. They're gonna kill me. So that's what I'm saying. Like this whole thing is a battle of cultures. It's about passing down your traditions and principles. It had nothing to do with phenotype. Phenotypes can change,
So you're in Texas, right? And let's hypothetically, huh?
That I'm into what?
I said you're in Texas.
Yeah, I'm in Texas. Yeah.
So hypothetically, right? Let's say this, like, an invasion comes through, the Patriots and the quote unquote, I don't like to use the term, but the quote unquote rednecks and the hillbillies and the Patriots. I like to look at the Patriots as majority white, got a few Latinos and a few black men and a few Asian American men, right? But majority white patriots,
Sure.
right? If there's an invasion here, where do you stand?
What do you mean? Where do I
Like,
stand?
bust out your guns and just fight for America, or like, what would you do in
Who
the
am I?
midst of?
Who am I? Who am I fighting?
If there's an invasion in America, like, you know how people have talks like, oh, there's gonna be like some type of like
What,
invasion, like where the patriots have to come bust their guns and
what, what kind of men would allow invaders to come into their home?
they don't.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm not like we got to protect the home front.
Yeah, like what is your? I look at you as a man. Like I don't. I look at you as a solid man, but I'm just saying, like, your ideology and what would you, not only would you do in that situation, but like what is your ideology? Like, would you, are you, put it like this, are you America first?
Yeah,
You're
absolutely,
America first.
Ab- absolutely. Um, you know, I just we don't we take so much for granted here. Like we don't know how we don't understand how blessed we are. The fact that we have light all the time, we have water. That's one thing I wanted to touch on. That train station in Moscow. And then you look at all. You said
You
what?
said in Russia?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you see the station?
Hmm?
Did you see the train? There's train station in Moscow. Moscow. Beautiful,
Mm-mm.
beautiful. But our public utilities here, our infrastructure is going to crap because why? Because we don't care. We outsource that responsibility to other people, and those other people don't care. They don't care how things look. They don't care about presentation. All they care is profit coming in. So it breaks my heart that we're just letting our country just go to shit like this. It's really sad. For people to do that, we don't deserve our freedoms.
Ex-
We
yeah.
can't. We're not even good stewards of what God has blessed us with. You know.
Add to what you're saying, like, I've posted stories, um, saying stuff like, if you put me in Power of America, I'm gonna turn it, like, with the stage and what, like, going into what you're saying, like where we are now. I always say, like, if I was to have power over, and I always, by the way, America should not have a female president. I emphasize that all the time. But me, if I was to have power, like, I would operate as a communist. Like, I would be a communist on Front Street and a humanitarian when nobody's looking. And I know that sounds, because I'm a sweetheart and I'm a softie in real life, but because what I'm trying to say is, I don't justify, like, Hugo Chavez or Fidel Castro, or I don't like communism. Obviously,
Yeah.
there's a little degree, like there's a little thing in me, like, wow. Um, I'm trying to say it the right way. I'm not justifying communism, but a part of me asks, like, myself, like, wow, these dictators, did they do it because they were evil? Obviously, yes. But did they also do it from an angle of people are animals and people have to be controlled? And then here you have America, where we are free. And look at where, like, in the entirety of freedom, look at where it got us.
Yeah, because we let these weirdos in the gates because men left their posts. Men are supposed to guard the society against these wicked ideas. So that's why things are bad. But I think what you mean is a benevolent dictator. Somebody's going to tell people what to do, but treat them right.
I'm so up, like, I'm pissed off. Like, I always, like, I'm upset. I'm genuinely, in my heart of all hearts, I'm very upset where we're at in America. And I don't know if I sound, because I travel by myself, so I don't care, but I don't feel like leaving the country right now. I have some type of caution, in the sense of, I feel like if I go to another country, I feel like I would be taken as a joke, because, like, I don't know if it's because of Mexico. Like I said, I went to the airport, went there October 2020. And maybe that played a part, because I went in, like, the heart of the pandemic. But, like, I don't I, this vibe in Mexico that I just, and you figure I was in Cancun, I was right on the resort. I wasn't in the country. You understand what I'm saying? Like I was on like a like place that everybody goes on vacation. And I just felt like when I left there, I had like the beach, I had the swimming pool, I had the indoor bar, outdoor, like I had outside bar, had all this stuff. The mall was down the street for me, whatever, all these things. But then I just came back to America so happy. Like it just sank things even like it just I don't
Yeah.
know. Like I still have my passport and everything like that, but it's just I don't know.
The life the lifestyle that we live here is for the rich and famous in other countries.
Yeah, like with Mexico, the way they treated me, I don't know if because I was like, well, you answered that already. There's three things that I had in mind. Is it because of the color of my skin? Is it because I'm a woman? Or is it because I'm American? It could very well at least be two out of three, if not three out of three. Because Mexico has their own little funny. But if I was like Jay-Z or Beyonce, I'm sure they would have been nice to me because status holds weight, right?
Yeah.
I was just another American.
Just,
So I'm saying all of that to say that don't get me wrong. Like I absolutely want to go to Ethiopia. I want to go to Sweden. I want to go to Jamaica, and I want to go to Aruba. And there's a few countries that trust me. Like I have my passport. I can go. But my biggest concern is like I don't want to be disrespected as an American because I have this whole thing like these other countries are watching us,
yeah.
especially like during the election, right? Um, I don't know if you see, like I'm pretty sure you did. There was people from Nigeria, Australia, Canada, just from there, probably more, and I would say Mexico as well. When Donald Trump was saying that they stole the election from him, and Americans were being spoiled, brat, rotten, calling him delusional, saying, "Oh, he's just conceited," and da 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 da. These other countries were like, "Oh my God, they stole the election from Trump." Like people in other countries, while we were spoiled, brat. Not me. I know they stole the election, and I was verbalizing that, but Americans here were like, oh my God, no, he's lying. He's delusional. Nobody stole it from him. So even just that right there, I think it started with Obama's term. I don't want to say like, disrespecting your leader. That started with Obama's term, to be honest. I don't think it started with Trump. But just America having other countries watching us, we're a joke. So it's kind of hard for me, being that I travel by myself. I have some type of caution in here. It's kind of hard for me to go to another country right now while America is a joke. Because I feel like as Americans, I don't care what you're black, white, yellow, purple, um, we need to get our respect back. We don't have respect. You understand me? So it's just like, how am I gonna just go to another country and act normal and just act like people are like? I mean, I think I could go to the Caribbeans. I think I could blend in fine. Like, but certain countries in particular that I would like to go to, like Africa or Asia and stuff like that, I'm a little hesitant.
Well,
Like, what do you think? Like, do you do you like to travel outside of America?
I mean, I don't really
You don't even want to go to New York.
be honest. I'm gonna be dead honest. Like if I travel, I'm just trying to see like what kind of women are places like. No, I'm for real. Like I'm being real. Like that's I mean shit. Like I'm a guy. Like I'm like what do I do? Like, lift weights. What's fun to me? Lifting weights, like fast cars, women. I'm a guy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if I go to another country single, I just want to see like get some exotic women.
You
Or
trying to you trying to be a passport bro, huh?
nah. I'm just saying like I just like some people. I don't drink. I don't smoke. But like if I had, I don't have like a sex addiction. But like if you were to give me everything in the world, like it'd be like, okay, like all these women are throwing themselves at me. It'll be a little hard. Like but if people give me alcohol and drugs, I'll be like, no, I don't want that. But like all these beautiful women coming at me, I'll be like, oh, that'll be kind of hard. You know what I mean? So
When I travel, I love to sightsee. I love to try the food. I like to go to museums, aquariums. I like to study. I like to learn about like wherever I'm at, like what's the historical facts, and I like to learn the geopolitics. Um, I don't know. I just love traveling.
Yeah, I don't care about sightseeing. Like I don't care to see Niagara Falls. Like I don't care to see pyramids. Like what I need to see, I can look on the internet. Like what I need to see that for? Like
Are there pyramids in Oklahoma?
I don't know. Like I
You
don't go.
you haven't been. You know Oklahoma, and I'm dying to go to Oklahoma. There's this place called Little Sahara. So it's
Yeah.
like a sandy area. Like if somebody takes a picture, they could just like you would have thought they was in Dubai or something. And it's called Little Sahara, and I think it's located in Oklahoma City. Like I would love to go there.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, America is beautiful. Like
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is.
me traveling in the States is very satisfying for me. Like, yes, I want to go back out and leave the country again. Um, but I don't know. I just have my little cautions. Like I don't want like we don't as a country we don't have that respect no more, and that really bothers me.
Well, I think as Americans, we still get respected because we're Americans. Like as far as our country in totality, like people don't fear us. But like as Americans,
No,
I think people will still respect the fact that we're American citizens. People do look up to us. We are culture setters, but that's also a double-edged sword because I don't think our culture is setting a good example for others in mass. But we running on 3 hours. We need to wrap this up. You got any questions for me?
should women vote?
How it is?
I'm just wrapping it up. I'm just like getting the basic answers. That's what I'm doing.
Vote if they're landowners, if they're business owners, or if they're service women.
So the men will make the educational, like home, like whether it's homeschool, public school, charter school, private school. Who does
I don't think
homework with children, men or women?
you said what
Homework.
about
Who
homework.
who does that with children, men or women? Or there's no gender answer to that.
I don't think. Yeah, it's either way. My dad always helped me with my homework. My mom never helped me with my homework.
So that could go. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, and men are better at math than women. So, but okay. And where do you stand on abortion?
I'm. What do you mean? Is it when you say
Should
that
women
like? Is it
get abortions or no?
you said should women get abortions? No, like, I don't think so. I'm not. I don't support it, but
I agree. I'm a former pro-choice, and then I became. I'm just using the terms like to just kind of answer it to the point. I'm a former pro-choice, and then I became pro-life. What was the other topic that we had?
um, I think that's pretty much it.
I thought it was another topic where we were just talking about everything. Is that what
Yes.
that was?
See, I kind of screwed it up because like I wanted to start off with like a warm up, but then like our warm up became the fire. You know what I'm saying? So, but I think it was good. I think this was it was very heavy, but I think there was some lighthearted spots in it. But I think people will enjoy it. I respect your perspective, young king. Hey, I really appreciate that. I appreciate you just watching. Just anybody that takes the time out to hear what I gotta say. And I like collaborating with Lydia. She's solid. She has a good perspective. She provides that balance. Because men and women, we when you have both functioning perspectives coming together, I think that you get the full picture. And I enjoy collaborating with her definitely. But man, I really appreciate you watching us for sure, for sure. But
Likewise.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Appreciate it.
Thank you, K Crown, and thank you everyone for watching. I appreciate you all. Thank you for your time on this Sunday night.
Yeah, so same time next week. No, Saturday next week.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
here
hopefully,
we are
ho-
on Black
yeah,
folks time.
yeah, hopefully we get monetized soon. So like we can actually like plan. You know, so like it won't be like, oh, I gotta run to mercy. It's like, okay, like this is I'm not.
Yeah.
So anyway, well, man, y'all have a good night and have a good week,
You
Lydia. See
Thank you. Stay safe.
you too.